check.
Part of the season would make the top three. And Saturday, if we win, we've really consolidated top three, plus the fact that we go two games clear. So it's a pretty big game for us. They did play in a bit of slush and mud, but I'm sure the coaching staff would have probably rested them a little bit through the week. They told me in Perth it's going to rain for a couple of days, so there could be some consideration on the players on the bench. There's no doubt McIntosh revels in the wet conditions, and Harvey, Cunningham, they're good players. So, but I'm pleased to think that we've got players more than capable of matching those players. We selected the team on a Wednesday afternoon. We had another look at it just prior to a players' meeting tonight. Doug Clark, who this year I think it's his 40th year at the club. Doug is our property steward, in hospital at the moment. But Doug, we're all thinking of you and wish you all the very best. I know you'll be looking forward to the game. We'll miss you, but we only hope to see you back in the next few weeks for the finals.
Great Phil Carman, Stephen, isn't he?
Yes, terrific. I ran into him on the way in. I just asked the question, a very simple question, how are you enjoying it? And he said, well, I am now. And you can imagine that would be the case. It's pretty logical that instead of being in damage control and trying to limit how much you lose by, they're not only very competitive now, but sitting up the top. And obviously you can enjoy your footy under those circumstances. It looks pretty relaxed down there, doesn't it?
Well, these are scenes we don't often get a chance to have a look at. The players just in those few minutes before a game taking a little bit of time. Barry Stanfield back, an important game for him in his career in the context of how he's going.
We would love at the Adelaide Footy Club to see him catch fire today and really get hold of some of the football and dominate the game. I mean, having said that, we'd really like him just to find some of the footy as well. He's been dogged by injury, and a little bit of a confidence boost for him would be fantastic.
During the week, Michael Parsons also caught up with Magarey medalist and Sturt vice-captain Brodie Atkinson.
Brodie, things are going pretty well for the Sturt Football Club this year. How's training been? Is it building up towards the finals now?
Yeah, we're starting to build it up. Intensity starting to pick up as we're getting closer to the final. So each Thursday night we start to pick it up that little bit more, even though the trainings are a little bit shorter. It's just short, sharp sessions. And
is there much talk amongst the players now of the impending finals appearances?
Oh yes, I suppose now that we know that we're definitely going to be in the finals and most probably going to be in the top three, we get a double chance. We sort of thinking about that, but obviously this game this week is vitally important.
And obviously the players would be keyed up for this game because Norwood's one of those teams that would have to be considered a finals chance.
Oh yes, being last year's premiers and obviously starting to tune up to be one of the favourites again this year, we need to be able to win these types of games to be able to give ourselves that confidence in the finals.
And it looks like it's going to be a wet day. Where do you see Sturt's advantage in those conditions?
Oh, everyone's talked about that we probably need dry conditions to suit our type of football, but we've played some pretty good games in the wet, and we've won games in the wet. Last time we played Norwood was at Norwood Oval in atrocious conditions, and it was only just a kick or two in it, so I expect that it'll be pretty much the same sort of game this week.
And would you see any other players coming in because of those conditions?
Oh, we may look at certain other players instead of looking at a couple of extra tools if it was a dry day, obviously, but a few other blokes might get an opportunity if they were around my height.
Brodie doesn't give away much at all, does he, Stephen? But you can see that Curtis comes in for the double blues. They've certainly made a couple of changes, and the other one is Cardone comes in, both first gamers for the double blues.
Yes, two first gamers in the one side at the one time is interesting and puts a little question mark, I think, over them, to be fair. Mark Nutley, how would you see that?
Yes, they've been reasonable form this year. I mean, they really haven't set the world on fire, but last week against the Tigers, and I've been told they were back to their best, but they do play well at Adelaide Oval. But they've got a good half-back line. That's the line that really does impress me with Patura, also Soderstrom and Maloney across there. Very strong line. But Atkinson, he's been in sensational form. But the big fella, he has to win the Magarey medal. I'll say it now. I know we're only up to round 19, but Simon Feast will win the Magarey medal.
Well, that's all of the talk, of course. Mark, I made a comment just a moment ago about the long-legged characters that they've got and their ability to carry the ball and carry the line, long kicking as well. If you look through that, and you mentioned Patura and Maloney, who are in terrific form, but add to that Geddes and Robinson, Lennon and Irvin. I mean, some of these guys are just very, very good at carrying a line, aren't they?
Yeah, White at centre-half forward also, Stephen. I mean, he's 6'5", and he's also very, very mobile. But you're right, I mean, Lennon's yet to be 6'2" in the old language. Also, Irvin would be over 6 foot. But they have got a very strong running line right from the back line, right through to their forward line as well. And Burton's just starting to find the goals as well.
Somebody would have been dreaming about picking up Burton, surely, though, with 18 goals in 3 weeks. They'd be looking at him pretty closely, wouldn't they?
think that's a fair point. Sorry, Mark, you missed it.
I missed that question, David.
We'll go straight to Michael Parsons. We've already had a look at the double blues performance this year, but Norwood, Michael, have been pretty solid. 11 wins, 5 losses, but they've lost 4 games by under a goal.
That's right, but it's been a long time since they've lost a game by any margin. They have played some very good football over the last little while, and really Norwood, they're getting things together. They've got some goal kickers coming back. James West had a run around in the 2s today, and Big O'Brien, I saw him starting to do some sprint work at training as well, so they're their 2 key forwards. They're looking to be in the side for the finals, and they've also got their AFL players coming back in Daniels, James, Eccles and Cook coming back. This side is only going to get better as the weather dries out.
Not a bad point, that is it. As we go to Peter Road, Michael Parsons caught up with him on Thursday night and asked him how he rated the double blues.
Their personnel hasn't changed a lot, but they've got a bit more confidence in one another. You know, they've got some of the big blokes especially are playing very well, and they've probably had a couple of seasons together now, which is a big advantage. You compare their team, which has been very stable, to ours, which has been changing all the time, and you know, they've developed a real camaraderie amongst their blokes, and they're playing with a lot of passion. So they're certainly playing as a very good team at the moment. Certainly, you know, I think that they're a pretty good attacking team. If they get good conditions, they've got some good high marks up forward, and there's some very quick ground level players as well. So they're pretty well balanced team. Their quick crumbing players are the ones that always, you know, worry us, I suppose. People like Twitt and Cataneri and Atkinson is a very good crummer under any conditions. You know, Lennon and Irvin are very competent wingmen. You'd expect that probably the medium size or the smaller players have a large influence, but you know, someone like White and Burton up forward who've got very good hands, they can still take a few marks even if it is slippery, and I'm sure that won't be too muddy at Adelaide Oval, so it'll be pretty fair for everyone, I think. I think that Adelaide Oval is a very true ground. It's nice and big and open spaces, so I think in those sort of conditions home ground advantage isn't such an advantage. Your major aim, I think, is to finish in the top 3, and you see being minor premier as an added bonus. And I think you know, we're in a position, if we beat Sturt this week, it certainly, you know, brings the top spot as a very real possibility. So we'd be very keen to win. Obviously we're keen to win though, because we're going to come up against Sturt in the final somewhere on the track, and it's nice to have a win against finals opposition. Hopefully we can contain their on ballers, which is always very difficult. You know, we're pretty strong on ball ourselves, and if we can stop their players having a large effect, and if we can get the likes of Harvey and Doreen and Obst and Fosdyke and Borlace and some of those guys getting a lot of the ball, and hopefully play the game at our end of the ground and end up with a better score than they do.
Their forwards are going to have to kick a winning score. Really, their forward line's been the structure that's let them down. I think they're the 8th worst in the competition.
Yes, but the best in defence, and we've seen in the AFL scene over recent years that the sides that keep them out the best come finals time are the ones who are the best performed. So, I mean, I think all of that augurs pretty well for Norwood. I did pose the question, Mark, when I last saw Sturt with you guys about a month ago, about whether or not the double blues could score heavily enough. Now, they did that. They kicked 6 in about 10 minutes towards the end of the 3rd quarter in that game at Elizabeth to blow the game apart. To be able to do that against Norwood, however, today, I think Michael Parsons would be a quite different story, because with the best defence in the league, the double blues are going to be, well, they're going to be under the pump, and we'll ask Michael that question in just a moment.
As we go to Norwood co-captain Anthony Harvey.
Anthony, first game back after a little time out of injury last week. How did the body stand up?
Yeah, pretty good. It was good just to get a run under the belt, and it was a pretty hard-fought game in the heavy conditions here at the parade, but I got through all right, and hopefully I should come up all right for this week.
And the heavy conditions, do you think it affects a team on the whole from one week to the next?
Well, it definitely evens up the standard between the two sides playing on the day. It's a matter of putting your body on the line more than anything else, and persisting and see who comes out on top at the end.
And training this week, how's it been?
Yeah, it's been fairly short because we've only had 6 days rest, and boys have moved well. Spirits are up after a good win, so we're going into this week pretty confident.
And the possibility of a minor premiership probably hinges on this game. Does that mean a lot to you?
Oh, in the long run it does, but we just set ourselves, you know, week by week at the moment, and the finals is still, you know, 4 or 5 weeks off, so we're just concentrating this week on Sturt, and you know, they're a hard opposition, so we've just got to give it everything.
And who do you see as significant matchups this week against Sturt?
Well, Burton's been playing very well for him up forward, so hopefully Fleming or Pitt or someone can negate him, and their back line's pretty strong as well. They get a fair bit of run off there, so hopefully we can stem that tide a bit, and they're on balls as well. We've got to match up on them.
I think he's hit the target on all aspects of that, Stephen, hasn't he? They're really going to have to handle the Sturt forward line, and their defence has got a big job.
Yes, there's no doubt about that. I was saying just a moment ago that the Double Blues could score heavily, and they did that month or so ago against Central District. And Michael, the best performed sides, as I said, in the AFL perhaps over recent times have been those that have been able to keep other sides out. Does that augur well for Norwood, do you think?
Obviously, that's a crucial aspect of the game, David. And David, I think it might have been Stephen. But they have got a good defence, haven't they? Pitt has been very impressive over the year. His ability to mark the ball under all sorts of conditions and under all sorts of pressure has really impressed me this year. Lachlan Bowman gets down that road 250 kilometres or whatever he travels to practice on a Thursday night and then turns around and does it again for a Saturday game. It shows the dedication of the man, but he's playing great football in the key defensive role as well. Scotty Doreen with his silky skills. I think it's a luxury for Peter Road to be able to have somebody like Scott Doreen play a half-back flank, and then you've got the experience of Jerry Dantokia. So, yeah, you're right, Stephen. It is a very, very solid back line. But at the same time, they're up against some quality opposition in Sturt, and I think we were talking just before we went to air in the fact that since Stephen White has moved out to centre-half forward for the Sturt team, that really has allowed Sturt to focus on the full forward position, and Julian Burton's got the resultant score. It'll be interesting to see how it comes out today.
No doubt about that. As we go to the toss, Anthony Harvey comes in, Chris Thedgold from the right, and up she goes. Very little breeze. Anthony Harvey has won the toss. Now, Michael, we might just come quickly back to you. The breeze factor down there.
You may have heard in some of the interviews I did Thursday night, David, that it was going to be a very wet and heavy day. I got it wrong again, I'm sorry. It is actually a great day for football. The ground is a little wet from the rain we had earlier in the week, but the wind is staying away, the fog is lifted. There's a real buzz around the crowd. Watched a very exciting seconds game, which Norwood got up by about 4 points, I think, and there's a big crowd in at Adelaide Oval just looking around. It'll be a great day for footy, and this crowd's ready to see it.
Thanks, Michael. Barry Stanfield on screen. Stephen Trigg, you mentioned the Crows would be very eager for him to have a big game today.
Well, he's had a lean trot, hasn't he? Hasn't played since early last season in the AFL setup, but has struggled with injury. There's no doubt about that, and we would like to see him just find some footy today, Mark, and just get a feel for the game and be competitive so that he can give us a chance for the finals.
Yes, definitely. He's definitely a key player up there. They need another tool with Barnaby French missing today's game, but a player I spoke to Phil Carman as I was walking back up to our commentary position. He's mentioning that Matthew Powell hasn't played in one of the big games today, Dave. Sorry, one of the big games this year.
That's true. As we go back to Sturt, he'll be sorely missed, by the way. I think he's a very important player for them. Now, Feast, a big one. Stanfield, another one. Brodie Atkinson, look at them, and they're very similar to the Crows, Stephen, in that they've got 4 or 5 key players, but 16 very good players behind them.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Powell missing, that if we make the comment that they do have, the Double Blues, a number of long-legged line-carrying players, well, I mean, Powell complements all of that pretty well, doesn't he? So does Brodie Atkinson, of course, playing in the middle of the ground as one of the shorter, burrowing, first possession gathering players. Now, missing Powell is going to be a problem.
Brodie Atkinson, last year's McGarry medalist. Don't forget, Tuesday, the 17th of July at...
September.
Of September. Corrections. Thanks, guys. How are we going? Well, I'll always be early. Simon Feast, he'd have to be one of the chances. Mark, I know you rate him highly.
Well, he got another best on ground last week, and we've seen him at least 6 times this year where he has been outstanding, where he's picked up the 3 votes or the 2 or 1. You know, with us, it just depends on how the umpire has seen his performance on the day, and you can, but he's just been in such outstanding form this year, and you just have to say that he had to be odds-on favourite to win that medal this year.
Sujay Cook, full-time guitarist, part-time footballer. Pretty good at both, really. I mean, his form when he broke into the Adelaide side was excellent, and just found the pace a little bit quick for a while.
All right, our umpires for this afternoon's match. Ron Bettridge, Darragh Ryan and Mike Humphreys. And to pick up the call, stay with us. We're live until 5. It's Stephen Trigg with Mark Nayley.
So we're just about set. There's a pretty good crowd in too, as you can imagine. The siren sees Keating up against Feast. We didn't talk about it much before the game, but it looms as one of the most critical matchups of the day. A beautiful high bounce at Adelaide Oval, and Keating crashes into Feast and gives away a free kick.
I think, yeah, just that eye, Stephen, for the ball, and did Simon Feast not realising, but Aaron Keating, a good approach to the ball first up.
And another free kick relayed down the ground, so plenty of vigour in the first part of this clash here at Adelaide Oval. The free kick's with Lang. from about 55. The short pass is okay, but on Adelaide Oval you get caught in the pockets. Not really the way to go. The mark's taken by Dale Fleming in the back pocket. Just settles things down a little bit, goes towards the middle of the ground. Keating presents and takes the mark at centre half back. They tell me he threw away the helmet for a little while last week, but it's back on today. Just in case he falls off his bike, McIntosh far side and gets Harvey. I think that's hurt Anthony too.
What a matchup that's going to be today. Harvey picking up Atkinson, or Atkinson picking up Harvey. Just going to be one of the great duels you'll see and you'll be witnessing live on ABC Sport this afternoon.
Harvey's recovering from those hamstring injuries. You talk about players that are deserving of a McGarry medal. Well, they are certainly a couple. One's got one and one is half a chance. Keating paid the mark on the outer side. Now, this is not opened at the cracking pace that their previous games has, that's for sure. As Clements comes off half-back, Clem couldn't mark it. Loose ball falls, ball ace. Just outside 50, chips it in short. Malloy was the target. He's got it in front of Threadgold. Great work, the Redlegs.
Yes, good build-up, ball ace. Just held his kick back, realised he had movement up forward. Either up there, and big number 24 and Lenny Pascoe was the other option. But Malloy, good mark out in front of Threadgold. And a good start. He just needs a little bit of confidence, does Jared Malloy, or Glenn Malloy.
They need a good start, the Redlegs. Malloy from 40, it looks good, conditions are perfect. That's the start the Redlegs wanted. They're on the board, and we've played just on 2 minutes into the first term.
We've only played just over 2 minutes in this first quarter, but this player here on screen, Big Aaron Keating, has taken 2 marks. In comes ball ace. Just faked the handball, saw Malloy moving up forward, put onto his left boot and found the target. Malloy went back and kicked the goal, but a good opening and good start by the Redlegs.
Neat little pass, wasn't it? And a good start for the Redlegs. Back in the middle, what will Keating do this time? Again has a go at it and probably gets the better of it, just the lion's share of it. Feast not quite tall enough. Far side of the ground, Cunningham works very hard, loses feet. Now the double blues work it out. They've got one-on-one now with White and Bowman. White just flicks a hand up there, couldn't control it. Cartignery bursts through on the left leg and does pretty well inside centre half forward. Now here's Burton, the danger man for them. Working him well was Fleming. Oh, if it had got through, Atkinson was free as well. Cartignery now again on the left boot, up towards the head of the square, not quite for Kennett. Comes off hands towards the boundary line and should go over the line, and it does.
Little Cartignery, Mervyn Muffy Cartignery. We've seen him a few times this year. He is lightning with his leg speed and really can use the ball. Didn't possibly there, should have gone directly for the goal square because it was open. He did have time on his side and space.
White front position, thumps it down. Dantoki goes after it. Brody Atkinson off the ground. Looks pretty good. The goal umpire said hit the post. So it grazed the inside of the post. Bad luck for the double blues. But certainly Brody is pumped.
Definitely is pumped. As I said, picking up Harvey this afternoon, a 26-year-old McGarry medalist, the current McGarry medalist. And just a little bit unlucky there not to bring up his first major for the afternoon.
Dantoki from full-back, a best and fairest winner with the Redlegs. And he did it in a year that Macca won a medal too, or was it Jarman? Back it comes to White, a high bomb. Who's underneath this one? Big fly, Lang's got it. The former Western Australian's taken a big fly and claims the mark right in the goal square.
Just sitting up here, up in the grandstand this afternoon. You can see Lang had the sit, had the ride over the back of the pack. He was 3 deep, had eyes for the football, and a good strong mark by Adam Lang. Should go back. The young 19-year-old should go back point blank range. Knows how to kick his first major, David.
Knows how to kick a goal. 10 goals in 7 games. I think he got 4 in one match, didn't he? He was pretty important. Night game here against Central, and that one right through the middle gets the double blues off to a fly.
We see here on the screen again, sitting back, just had the ride over the back. Every player would love to have a sit like that. He took the mark. More importantly, went back and kicked the goal. You see the cheer squad, the top tier of the Sir Donald Bradman grandstand here at Adelaide Oval, in absolutely beautiful conditions and good crowd as well.
So 1-1, plays 1 goal, listed at 191 centimetres. Lang, it's just about a prerequisite to get into the Sturt side. You've got to be over 6'2" or 3. Cunningham tackled by Atkinson, can't take it. Comes out towards Lennon, was desperately off balance but did brilliantly to get it forward towards Atkinson. Now Richter, the old timer from inside the centre square, pumps it up to within about 15 metres. Have a look at it, Burton. Can't do so. Down to the ground. Where's the Crummers? Not on offer this time, and we'll have a bounce down.
Important thing there, Mark, was that Burton, while he wasn't in the contest, collapsed the pack and brought the ball forward.
Yes, he did. We just saw as Richter was coming through the middle of the ground, he indicated to Burton he wanted to drive it long straight to the top of the goal square. He didn't want to push Burton wide, which Burton has done this year. He has taken a lot of marks out wide on half forward and also the forward pocket.
Bowman thumps it down. Cunningham dispatches a kick. Was it Clements? It was. Lennon dragged off it. Play on, said the umpire. No, it's a free kick. It'll come back. Well, Mark Daly likes the decision and reckons that's all right.
Well, he's a player playing for the ball. Got the handball out, as you will see here. Well, not quite a handball. Dropped the ball to the ground. Possibly could have been paid for holding the ball, but is rewarded with the free kick.
Interesting one, that. He didn't dispose of it by hand or foot, but clearly held by Fosdyke.
I don't think the slow motion did it much justice. It was the action of tackling that pinged the ball out.
So Lennon from 35, it drifts off to the left and it's carrying, it's going with the leg. He doesn't like that. Great disappointment. That was an important kick.
Yes, Sturt, they started well. I mean, they bounced back. Norwood kicking the first goal. We've played just over 6.5 minutes, nearly 7-minute mark into this first quarter. And the Red Legs will defend.
Pretty conventional zone set up by the Double Blues. 3 players across the full forward line, 4 through the middle and then 5 across the 50-metre arc. Just trying to close Norwood down as they took it away from defence, and they've done exactly that. Phil Carman looking on.
Graham Dunstan alongside of him. And is it John Wellesby? I think it is John Wellesby.
Yes.
The team manager.
Really would be enjoying their footy at the moment. Broken free and now towards the boundary line. We'll have another boundary throw in. Deep in that forward pocket. You get a perspective too on camera there about how deep the pockets are. You just have to be at Adelaide Oval. Nice and direct. And to achieve that, you need competitive centre-half forwards and full forwards, obviously. A couple of updates. Other games, Port Adelaide by 7 points over Central District at Adelaide Oval. Julian Burton, again deep in that pocket. He swings it back. Standing in the way, though, Norwood player was Doreen. Just a bit messy at the moment. Flick forward. Burton couldn't control it. Atkinson can, as he always does from the bottom of the pack. This is Twitt now, deep again in that forward pocket. This is the place to be at the front of the square. Gives them a chance and puts Norwood under pressure.
Big fly was up, Kennett, but he couldn't bring it down. Finally, the ball finishes out here with Weatherall. He forces it forward. Richter. Well, it just got butterfingers, the Double Blues. If they'd taken clean possession, they could have had a couple of goals. Macca goes down, Continuary over the top, and the umpire calls for a bounce. Good umpiring.
Yeah, good umpiring, David, but a fair bit of pressure there applied by the Norwood defence. They just wanted to make sure the ball was pushed out of the area. Sturt wanted to keep it in there. Just a fair bit of pressure out there, but a great start by both sides.
We said that Norwood have got the best defence in the competition. You can see there why. It's Cunningham out to Obst on the fly. A big bomb towards half forward who was up. Geddes couldn't bring it down for the Double Blues. It falls to Feast. Oh, he got a poke in the eye, I think, the big fellow. Or perhaps a job on the jaw, but he didn't like it.
Was McIntosh involved? I think he was. He was in the area.
Well, Simon won't forget that one as we have another look.
Just see there, Feast.
Oh,
over the ball, it's big Sujay.
He's trying to punch the ball, no problem with that. Feast brings it down. Clements, a hurried kick forward. Fosdyke front position on Lennon. What a battle that's going to be. A learning experience for the young kid. Geddes out to Soderstrom. Now a long bomb from Patura, the left footer. A high one to the outer wing, front position. No take, said the umpire. Clements was dragged down and gets the free.
Yes, good umpiring once again. Clements, the free kick was there and rewarded.
Their balance is pretty good around the footy, Sturt. They've got some boys who'll run forward, but they've equally got some on the defensive side. Going to be caught, Lockie Bowman, certainly now off balance. Inside half forward, not quite to Ketting. Gee, I thought I heard a whistle, but not there. Comes out, Soderstrom drops it and puts himself under pressure now, but knew there was a player out wide. It was Patura. This is where they carry the ball and work it so very well. Weatherall now towards centre wing. Standing his ground okay is White inside. Mervyn, away he goes and takes a bounce. Over the top it goes. This has broken it up, and Twitt now from 50 metres, 40 metres, 30 and closing, and kicks it for a goal. His first.
Champagne football by the Double Blues. Carried the ball from the last line defence. It started back there. There was some good solid defence. Continuing covered a fair bit of ground as you saw him trying to tackle Bowman. through the centre. Set the ball up there for young Jared Twitt. Einstein puts it on its way and kicks his first goal for the afternoon.
10 minutes gone, 14 plays, 6, an 8-point margin to the Double Blues. They like to get their nose in front and run on. Norwood certainly working hard. Keating thumps it down. Sujai Cook forces it forward. Soderstrom coming off half-back, handballs it away, but Obbs intercepts, drives it towards half-forward. Who wants it? Cunningham. Tough at the ball. Geddes just wraps him up. Clever work was Borlase out to Obbs. Look at the speeds to go. Picks up a little bit of pace and rattles the Sturt defence as he comes back inboard. Well done, Weatherall. Underneath it, held his ground beautifully. Fosdyke to Macca on the left boot. Macca goes for goal. Oh, it's come back beautifully. Macca gets his first, and that's the reply the Redlegs wanted.
The 34-year-old champion from Norwood. We'll see here Weatherall going for the ball. Couldn't quite take it. It's spilled free out to Fosdyke. Across to his captain and Gary McIntosh. Puts it on its way. That's Macca's first goal for the game. It could be for the season, David.
It's his second for the season.
That's all he's had this year.
That's a good stat. It's one I hadn't picked up. That's a ripper.
Kicked many goals this year.
Well, he kicks abundance of them, doesn't he, Tricky?
He does. Interesting move, men. Harvey's come off and Todd Davies come on. So I wonder if Peter Rhodes is a little concerned about the work that Atkinson's doing early. Here he is again, another possession from the middle of the ground. He's had plenty of it so far. A couple of possessions for McIntosh, but the damage is being done by Atkinson in and around the packs. Here's Davey, who's just come onto the ground. And again, it goes over the line. Atkinson. Frenetic little worker in the middle of the ground. Just 3 possessions. Well, I'm a bit surprised by that. Maybe Harvey's in some strife injury-wise, but I had the feeling that Atkinson was controlling the ball pretty well. Mind you, we're only a few minutes in. Bottom of the pack, and Brodie's holding the ball to the chest of the player there. You'll never get a free kick for that one.
I think that's what we're talking about, Stephen. It's those tackling and the hard balls. Doesn't show often on the stat sheet. And let's just see if there's any treatment on the lower legs for Harvey. No. So clearly a positional move required there.
Yeah, I think that it's fair to say that Atkinson was perhaps working to the contest and getting a bit more of the footy, pushing it forward, doing those sorts of things in terms of tackling. Michael Parsons, how do you see it?
I'm not sure how I see it, but one of the trainers from Norwood has said that it looks like he needs to restrap. So just come off for medical attention and he'll be back in.
Fair enough.
Restrap. Let's rub the ankles. It's not happening, is it? You have to say it's not happening at the moment.
Doreen forward. Now the red leg defence work it out. Bowman around the corner. Geddes was very good in the contest, wasn't he? Just slid into it, put his body on the line and forced the ball across the line. So we've had 13 minutes of the first quarter. It's a 2-point ball game. Geddes with McIntosh closing down, still committed the body, and not a lot of people are brave enough to do that. This is young Borlase, a star in the junior South Australian team. Cunningham, he's very good in this contest, but this time dispossessed by Soderstrom, who flicks it out to Irvin, who's been a great pickup since coming across from the Redlegs. Goes to the far side, but he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. A little too much carry.
You realise that there was no player forward. Decided to go for the safety of the boundary line. Had 2 or 3 Norwood players running across to one of those in Cook. Unfortunately, didn't bounce before the white line.
Little Sujai, just 21 games. Again, Atkinson. Deft. He's pretty good in those tight situations, isn't he? That's an ordinary kick, though. Cook. Norwood work it out. Dan Tocky at a half forward. It's pretty crowded down there. Keating underneath it. Well done, Aaron. Good mark. Right on the 50-metre line. That's what you need to see from a big fella.
We've seen him in the last few weeks, Trick. He's really developed in leaps and bounds.
Short pass has got a player as well. It's Doreen, about 35, perhaps 40 metres out.
Nothing pleases you, Coach, more than seeing your half-back line prepared to back themselves, run down through the wing, through the half-forward line, take a mark inside 50.
Now, you see a fair bit more of that, don't you? Keating took the mark there. He's instead of just playing a back play, you see more and more the ruckman moving down the ground and providing just another option, perhaps defraying that back playing ruckman from the opposition.
Keating has started well. His stats at the moment, as we'll see this afternoon, he's had 3 good marks.
4 hit-outs, though. I reckon he's on top there. Doreen jags it inside. To the left, 1 behind only, so the Double Blues are 2-2. Norwood are 2-1.
He's been consistent, Mark, hasn't he, after, I think, the first 3 or 4 games of the year where he really struggled to find the tempo of South Australian footy. He settled down beautifully. In other matches being played around town, it's Port 2 points over Central at Alberton. In the other match, North Adelaide 8 points over Glenelg at Prospect Oval. A couple of those games very important at...
Glenelg by 8 points, David.
Glenelg by 8, was it? Sorry. How am I going? All right, White.
Good kick.
Now short Maloney, he's very clever in that situation. The left boot was just deadly and picks out Lang about 48 metres out. The angle is slight. Now his best kick can make the distance, and he's got some pretty good stats already. So his confidence is high. He goes for it, bombs it in long. He leans back and heads for the doctor, but touched on the line. Burton was up, and there's a free kick in the square for a push to the umpire. Oh, and Bowman's not happy. Well, what do you reckon, Mark?
He was calling a push, Mark, wasn't he?
I think he was. As Big Burton came across the face of it, you can just see Bowman coming across, took his arm.
That is the worst free kick.
Front on. Maybe. It's a bit tough.
That's a
shocker.
shocker.
The rules are rules, David. You just can't take a player front on.
There's the spirit of the rule, though, isn't there? Gee, I don't know about that one. That's a tough one. So Burton, with 18 goals in the last 3 games, he really has exploded as a full forward. Leans forward into the kick and gets his first.
The Double Blues just extend their lead to 7 points now. 16.5-minute mark in this first quarter. A good kick, nearly made the distance. You see Bowman coming across the face of Burton. Just giving a little bit of a tickle across the face. Took the arm out as well, possibly a little bit high with the arm. Burton went back and kicked through.
I think we probably all agree it was a fairly cheap one. Norwood preparing to make a change.
Harley.
Tom Harley, yes, ready to come onto the ground. We'll have a look at that in just a moment, see who comes off again. Feast will go into battle. The bounce favours Keating, who grabs it intelligently, pushes it out towards Davey. Now around the body he goes. Get some quick entries going, Norwood, they'll be okay. Maloney, very well done. One of the cornerstones of their success so far. And they work it out, the Double Blues. Mervyn puts it up towards half-forward flank, and Keating, flew across the top of the pack. Was spectacular, but not effective.
Davey off to McIntosh, back to Davey in the double play. Davies provided a little bit of run and some fresh legs coming off the bench, but Patura marks at the back of the pack. He's an exciting half-back flanker, but this one is a dangerous one. Fortunately, Feast was able to make it work for the Double Blues. Further afield, it's Threadgold running downfield. Malloy was back quickly to cover. Great effort, Malloy, to get to 2 contests in the space of 2.5 seconds, and Lang is on fire, this young fella. His confidence is rising. He's good overhead. We knew that. And this one, a long bomb over the head of Burton. He doubles back on it. Bowman in support did pretty well. Got it on the left boot just inside the line. It's Robinson. This way, that way, not sure. Feeds it off to Twitt. There's a change. And Twitt on the left boot. Mark Nailey points that one out. And Atkinson marks about 60 metres out.
Well, Stephen Pitch has come off for the Redlegs. Not a good sign.
Atkinson squares it up. Burton 2 hands to the contest, couldn't grab it in. Hobbs did very well on Irvin, but Continuary roves the crumbs and goes for goal. It's offline. A point. Well, that was a real opportunity.
Yes, definitely. Young Mervyn Continuary at the moment. When the ball hits the ground, he just seems to be at the bottom of every pack. He's getting his hands on the ball. He just needs to finish it off, and Double Blues could be further in front. We may get Michael Parsons just to check on Stephen Pitt.
Kick-in's okay and finds Doreen. Again, the Double Blues in the zone. We'll just have a look carefully in a moment and see who's picking up young Adam Lang, because he is all over the place, seemingly without an opponent at the moment, as Keating gets it at half-back on the far side. In fact, the change being made, Harley's gone onto him, so...
been Pitt, Stephen, I think.
Pitt must have had him in the first place, you'd think, unless they've recast it. This now is McIntosh in towards the middle of the ground. Again, the Redlegs forward line is pretty well open. If they can squeeze it through there, it'll be okay. But Patura read it beautifully. Wanted to get back onto the preferred left leg, did so, and finds Kennett.
Kennett in the midfield. His form in recent weeks has been terrific, finding plenty of the ball. Distributes it pretty well. This time to Feast running downfield. Good commitment over the top goes the handball. Lang just couldn't quite get the set. Back over at Keating now. Scotty Doreen. He's working hard in defence. Doreen doing a great job for him. Clements to Fosdyke. Now he needs to move this on quickly, but the Double Blues had the midfield covered. And Davey was caught behind the ball, just not running and pushing up, as were a couple of other players. And look, it's worked for the Double Blues. So the Norwood's work rate a little down, and the Double Blues are picking them off from half back. Keating flies. Down goes Fosdyke, crashing through Toby Kennett. Cunningham got him in a beautiful tackle, and the umpire says that was over the shoulder. So it's a Double Blue free. Well, the Red League fans didn't like that. Toby doesn't wait to be asked a second time. Plays on quickly, and look at it. Well, luck's a fortune.
Oh, could be 25 metres too,
look
David.
at this.
Should be 25 metres.
Well, he got a warning, but no 25.
Oh, he's taken the mark as Lennon. Eventually nearly stopped. And Bowman crashed into him. We'll just see here in replay. Lennon takes it. 1, 2, 3 step stops. Bowman takes him to the ground. The ball's thrown out. Maybe the right decision by the umpire.
He certainly has the skills, and what a great shot we've got. We'll follow the kick as it comes in. Lennon is a beautiful kick. It's coming around slowly. Did it come around late enough or early enough? It was too late at a point, so it was coming around, but just after it went past the post.
The crowd's getting involved here at Adelaide Oval. We see our supporters, the red and blue scarves, and also the double blue scarves. A couple of old traditional clubs been in the competition for years.
Michael Parsons.
Yes, mate, we've got a fair game of football on our hands here, haven't we? But Stephen Pitt came off and they're looking at his ankle, so he's just rolled his ankle. And I'm not sure how good my information was with regard to Anthony Harvey. They haven't restrapped his ankle or his leg at all, so I'd say that was just a tactical move from Peter Rode.
Yes, I think that's right. The feeling was that Atkinson was doing pretty well, and the matchup just wasn't quite right, which is interesting because I suppose if you're making an assessment about it before the game, Mark, you might suggest that Atkinson might have trouble going with Harvey if Norwood were controlling the ball.
Yes, you would think so. I mean, Harvey
hasn't had much football.
Hasn't had a great deal of football. Maybe the fitness level of running all day would tell on him, but at the moment, Atkinson is by far one of the better players on the ground at the moment.
Sturt defence under pressure now as the ball bounces through. It's been touched. It came from the boot of Glenn Malloy, who's kicked one already, but just a little fingertip to it. And at the 22-minute mark of this first quarter, round 19 clash at Adelaide Oval. The double blues are 3-4. Norwood a 2-2.
Thread goal to the outer side. A high one. Feast is the target, isn't he, always? He rarely lets them down, this big fellow. I see what Mark Nailey's saying about being a Magarey medal favourite. So he can join us Tuesday the 17th of September, Mark. Continuary. Irvine. 15th of September. I'll get that right one day, Mark. I don't know why. It's Alzheimer's, I reckon. Oh, Fleming. He was good in the contest, wasn't he? Worked himself under that and judged it superbly.
Well, you just see there Fleming going back. A good finger tipper. Norwood have a chance here, Stephen.
They do with Obst. He can carry a line as well. Takes a bounce inside half forward and wants to go to a contest now at centre half forward. Working pretty well to the front too. Number 4 is Anthony Plim. That was very well done. Gave himself first access to the footy because he wanted it more. Now he goes towards the pocket. Tracking around there towards Pascoe. Now it's Pascoe's responsibility to keep it inside that corridor. He went right towards the boundary line. And I'd suggest to you, Mark, even if it marked it out there, it was going to be a tough kick.
Yes, it's inside 50, but fairly wide was taken there by Pascoe. But Robinson giving Pascoe, I would say, a good 3 or 4 inches in height, and also I'd have to say a good 10 kilograms in weight. So Pascoe really is the target up there. Kicked a couple of good goals a couple of weeks ago up against South. Really won the game off his own boot there in the dying stages of that last quarter.
Continuary kicks it out of bounds on the full. Ball lays with the free for the Redlegs. The young 17-year-old, he looks a likely type, doesn't he? We talk about draft choices at the National Draft. I think he might be finding a new home. I'd be worried if I was his mum. Pascoe missed it. Fosdyke cleverly cooked, snaps. Oh, that's a clever one. A very clever one. And the Redlegs get an important one, and that's Cook's first.
Just want that from your rover, Mark, wouldn't you?
Just there's some players have that ability to be able to throw the ball on the boot without even taking a step. We see here good handball across there by Fosdyke, and just without even looking, without even taking a step forward, Cook of a half a step has just thrown the boot onto the right boot, was aware of the players who were around him. That's a good goal by Norwood.
And Sujai's goal brings it back to 2 points the difference. 3-4 plays 3-2. Just over 24 minutes gone, first term. I reckon if you had some money, you could probably put it now on it being a very close finish. Norwood have featured in some tight finishes over the last couple of months. Davies there. Norwood work it out from half-back. Clements. One step and torpedo punch, okay. Plim's there, so too is Soderstrom, and I bet he finds the boundary line. Surprise, surprise. Good crowd, bit of sunshine about. Taking a punt at the moment, looking around. I'm not very good at this, Mark, but I reckon probably 7,000 or 8,000 people.
You'd have to say that most of the supporters on the outer up underneath the grandstand. There's a good base up through there, and also up in the grandstand here.
Again, Norwood. Push it up towards the full forward line. Gee, I thought Pascoe had it for a moment. Fair bit of pressure on back there now. Robinson, if it gets through, Malloy was going to be okay. The double blues get back in numbers and, in fact, get themselves a free kick.
Well,
Norwood's coach Peter Rowe wasn't too happy with that decision. Onto his feet. Giving the umpire a mouthful of abuse. The free kick's been paid. I haven't seen too many umpires, David, change their decision after that white whistle has been blown.
I'll go so far as to say I've never seen an umpire. So Soderstrom went without it. That slips. Slippery piece of soap, but he recovers. Forces it into the path of Irvin, and I like the way his season's been too. He's been an important factor in the Double Blues rise. Keating did well in the contest, just forced it to ground. Clements, who's had a terrific first quarter, brings it back inboard. Tavey was the target, just upended, but Sujai Cook got it back to Clements. Twit just applies enough pressure, but Davey is running hard. He's provided a second option. Around the corner goes the kick. Keating backed into the pack. The pack just crashed over the top of him. Kachinneri couldn't quite get to the contest. Sujai Cook, the loose scrum, dribbles one towards half forward. They're really running the Sturt defence. Lennon, clever work. Now this is the way they just drive it along. Stephen Trigg talked about their loping style. This time it's Patura to White. Again Clements just mops up beautifully. Bowman, Cook and Borlase runs away.
Good little player, Borlase too, and direct this time inside half forward. Good mark taken by 34. Tom Harley came onto the ground about 10 minutes ago. Just outside range, I reckon, and Feast, it looks like, might be in a little bit of trouble, which would be an absolute tragedy for the Double Blues. Well done by Cunningham, right to the head of the square where it's very dangerous. And Keating takes the mark about 20 metres out from goal.
Yes, Steve, you spoke about Feast. He's buckled over at the moment. He's received a couple of fairly heavy clashes, whether going for a mark or one-on-one. They really are working the big fella and Simon Feast. And that allowed big Aaron Keating to be able to get down onto the forward line and take a mark. It should kick this goal, David.
I think Mark was out on the outer wing when Keating came across the top. I think he just caught him in the hip with his knee, and I could see the discomfort in Feast as he went to ground.
Big Aaron's taken 5 marks. And this, with his third kick, shouldn't be too much of a problem. Straight over the goal umpire's head. Kicks his first goal. The 27-minute mark of this term.
Doesn't kick a lot of goals though, Mark, does he?
No, but today, what has impressed me so far in his game, that he really is giving a contest around the ground. He's trying to keep up with Simon Feast, who's also very big and very mobile. But we've seen him 2 or 3 times now just present himself inside the 50-metre circle.
Goal number 4 in his career, Aaron Keating, in 36 games, and Norwood take the lead by 4 points. We're almost 28 minutes into the first quarter. Stay with us. We're live until 5. The SNFL blockbuster. 1 versus 2, and that's just a hint of what's to come. Kennett through the midfield. A high ball. Can Kachinneri get under it? No, he can't, but White does. In front of Bowman. That's been a great contest, Mark.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Lockie Bowman is a tough customer, a country boy at heart. Really does love it, but it does get fairly physical out there. But White, he's only young White. He's only, in age terms, he's 22 years of age. Hasn't had a great amount of football. 119 games behind him.
I know Ken Sheldon likes him as a prospect. A left footer, a rangy left footer. Pretty good at kicking action. This one won't make the distance. Oh, Keating's been good, hasn't he?
He's working hard. Working real hard at the moment.
In good form last week and carrying it on, which is great to see. The Keating kick carries to the 50-metre line, defensive line.
Bowman just gave White a little one then too. I love the way Bowman goes about his game. We might just have a chance to rewind that one and have a look at Lachlan at his best. Just that niggling, nasty defender that the Redlegs love.
He's certainly pretty competitive. White lays it down. Twit couldn't take it. It's tough when it gets in tight. Probably over the last 10 to 15 minutes we've seen the game open up, and that's called a slam dunk.
It's a Mac attack.
The young and the old. Have a look at Macca. He's giving Twit a bit of abuse as well. Good to see Keating in there again. Macca takes it. Here we go. Gets on the shoulder, over the shoulder, dumps him down. There's Gary McIntosh, but still had hold of the football.
Loose ball. Umpire says, I'll have a bounce. Gary McIntosh, he loves these big occasions. Playing off a half-forward flank for the first quarter. Just be having a bit of a run at the moment. Richter's picking him up now. Macca wins the ruck tap. Well, I don't know how many of those he's won in his career. He needs to be very careful there as Twit claimed him, wrapped him up, and Macca tried to break clear, and the umpire just gives him a little bit of a warning. Now he's saying, I don't actually agree with you, umpire.
It's not how I live, Reddit.
Oh, Macca, he's a colourful character. I don't know in the last 30 or 40 years whether there's anyone more loved at Norwood than Macca. So there it is, the quarter-time siren sounds. And the Redlegs just enjoy a slender 4-point margin, Mark, and it's been a tough first term.
Yes, really has been. A very good quarter of football by both sides. A fair bit of pressure out there, an absolute perfect condition. You see there McIntosh just having his shave back to umpire Ron Bettridge, and they're still carrying on with it. But he is the captain. He is entitled to have his save. But, David, it really was a great quarter of football. I mean, Norwood got the first goal on the ball. Sturt bounced back, and all of a sudden it seemed as though Sturt were going to go away with it. They kicked the next 3 goals, and all of a sudden Norwood realised that they just can't let the top side get away.
And that's a blow, Mark, to Norwood.
Yep, it doesn't look good. But at least with an ankle, I mean, they've won their 2 weeks maximum. So he will be back come finals. But as I said, I mean, it really was a great quarter of football, and it really is set up, David, for it to be a great contest.
Yes, it was a great quarter of football. 4 points to difference. 4-2 plays 3-4. We'll be back in just a moment on ABC Sport to continue this round 19 clash from Adelaide Oval.
A 4-point ball game, Mark, and goal kickers are pretty well spread.
Yes, definitely there, David. I mean, Twitt, Burton and Lang for Sturt have had 1 each. Cook, Malloy, Keating and McIntosh have had 1 each. And it's great to see Macca kick his 2nd goal for the year.
Statistically, pretty close, obviously, in terms of the kicks and the marks. The handballs just a little in favour of the Double Blues. Looking at some individuals, Irvin's played pretty well for the Double Blues. So too has Lang, as I said, with 5 kicks. Cartanieri has 5 and 2. On the other side of the ledger for Norwood, well, Clements has got 6 and 3, 6 kicks and 3 handballs. So too Keating, probably the most damaging player, Mark, so far, with 4 kicks, 3 handballs, 6 marks though, and 6 tap-outs as well.
And in other matches around town this afternoon at Alberton Oval, Port Adelaide 1-3, Central 1-4, a tight one at quarter time at Alberton. And at Prospect Oval, it's North 1-1 trailing Glenelg 2-4. I suppose Tony McGuinness and Tony McDermott might just have a few bob on the outcome of that. So we go back to some shots of the players as they prepare to come back on in the crowd. And a very good crowd here, but Stephen, I might just put you on the spot just for a moment. Michael Parsons mentioned that it's a test for Simon Feast against an AFL ruckman in Aaron Keating. It's a very good point he's made.
Well, there are 2 things to that. I was thinking, as Mark was saying, the first one is the instruction for Keating to run forward is an obvious ploy against the Double Blues, because on the back play for Sturt, that's where Feast has been so damaging. So he sits back, and what he's saying is, Keating, you go forward and drag him off the line, make yourself another target. The other question is whether or not Feast has the ability at AFL level to get up there high enough. Now, as a ruckman, I think that's always been the question mark in terms of people drafting. They haven't probably done it in the past with that. The question mark, therefore, is can he play at centre-half back or centre-half forward? I still, for all of that, wouldn't be surprised to see him playing AFL football next year. Start of the 2nd term. The Double Blues are playing Norwood 22-26, 4 points the difference. Bounce down in the middle of the ground. Well done by Feast. See, we talk about that, but that's where he's very intelligent in terms of the use of the body off hands. This now is Kennett. Left leg. Wouldn't this be a dream start? It's a great little start for the Double Blues. Start of the 2nd term. Kennett gets his first.
Ah, the Premier. Every state should have one. Mr. Kennett out there looking number 28. He's pretty impressed with that kick. Good tap work there by Feast down the Weatherall. Good contest from Bowman from behind, but Kennett took it off the front of the pack onto his left leg. Long, strong and direct to the top of the square. Carried the goal square, went through the big white sticks and brought up his first goal for the afternoon. He's pretty excited about that.
30 seconds into the 2nd term and the Double Blues regain the lead. It's a seesawing game. 2 points in favour of the Double Blues as we go back to the middle, and Feast sets himself for another one against Keating. The big fella was up early, brought it down, but Cunningham roves this one. On the left boot, it was a bit of a grubber. Nobody really had an opportunity. Bourlaise ducked and wasn't rewarded. Play on, said the umpire. Cook went forward to Plim with the handball. Plim's kick was looking for Malloy, but Robinson, very clever. Back it goes. Threadgold under pressure, chips it wide. And this is where the Double Blues are good. They just settle it down in defence and start their run. And the Redleg forward line really have done a pretty good job of attacking, but when they open it up, do they open it up? Soderstrom, deep in defence, a penetrating kick. This is a long one right out to half forward. At the back of the pack, it was Keating and Bowman, not content to spoil each other. McIntosh, that one's too high and it'll be a free kick. Play on, said the umpire. Advantage allowed to flow as Davey goes forward and Pascoe marks. Well, that was good umpiring. and Pascoe marks at point-blank range. And on the left boot, will go back and have a shot for his first.
See the contest there, the big fella coming through, gives it across to Davey. The umpire called play on from the high tackle. They said in the first quarter, Threadgold up against Big Pascoe. Now the move has been made, Robertson has been moved from him. But big Lenny Pascoe, just too big, too strong.
I reckon it was here a few years ago, Stephen. Pascoe kicked 10 goals against the Double Blues. Well, wouldn't it be good for the Redlegs if he could repeat that today, because he's got his first point for the afternoon. That was a crucial miss. They're the ones you really need when you're really charging. Big setup and a big mark and a bad point.
Norwood supporter there, not too happy with Pascoe, missing that goal.
1 point the difference. The Threadgold kick carries about 50 to 55. Bowman just pushed his opponent right under the footy there. That's a good little battle so far. Into Cunningham. Pumps it up towards the 10-metre line there, and Threadgold shepherded it out and marks it pretty well. Handballs it off. Maloney out towards somewhere between half-back and centre wing. Geez, improved Kennett. He has improved a lot. Certainly kicked that first goal of this term, and look at that for a kick. That's carried probably 50 as well. Might get an update on the breeze from Michael Parsons in just a moment. Dan Tocky is there, pushes it out, and Obbs takes it away.
With pace too, as he usually does. Delivers a long one, but that is a problem, is the penetration and the accuracy of the kick, because he has plenty of pace, but sometimes just doesn't slow to deliver. Ventura comes back in ball on the left foot, well weighted and well placed. Richter sets it up. They switch the direction of play through Threadgold, who blasts one long. Good body on body work was Burton and Fleming. Fleming had the upper hand there. Goes back for a second effort at the contest, and Obbs was working very hard in defence. Let's see where this kick goes, and yet again he misses the target. It is a problem with him, isn't it?
Well, I think he knew what he wanted to do, and that was carry it that little bit of extra distance, but he didn't have the penetration in the leg, and Irvin got in the way. In fact, yeah, it's one of those things that, I mean, you can't be all things to all people, can you? But he worked. I was thinking how well he'd worked back, Obbs. It was just the execution was a problem.
Certainly his work ethic, Obbs, was terrific, but that is a problem, the disposal factor. And Irvin's kick is off to the left mark. Naily wheels it around. Just wonder where your money is today.
I just love to see a good contest, and love seeing goals being scored as well, David.
Now, I didn't ask you right at the start, which I should have. Who are you tipping?
I think I might wait for your tip first, David, today.
Fair enough.
Well, what are they, man?
Well, Dave Mackay has never given a tip in the last 2 years that I've worked alongside of him.
In the last 4 years, I've never given a tip. There you go.
Funny, I thought you got paid to do all that sort of stuff. It's a centre wing and ball ace. Number of possessions for him so far. Up towards half-forward flank. And the Redlegs, they're not getting really the free-flowing movement I reckon they'd be looking for. We spoke about Obst a moment ago. This is Harley, but Obst has 7 kicks. So he's making a pest of himself on centre wing. Keating, speaking about making a pest of yourself. The big helmeted one, he's all over the shop.
Well, Feast wasn't too far around, but if I was coach Phil Carman, this is the first instruction I'd be making to Feast was he's got to be aware of Aaron Keating. He is drifting forward, getting inside the 50-metre half circle. As you've seen there, adjusting his headgear, but he's taken a couple. I think it's his 3rd mark inside that area. He could kick his 2nd goal.
Well, knowing what we know from the huddle, he's playing the position exactly as his coach has asked him to do so. Clumsy looking kick though, wasn't it? One behind.
Just wonder, Mark, whether perhaps you couldn't bring Stanfield on and White can shadow Keating and free up Feast, who has really been a big plus for them, but has been negated today. So they need to change their tactics, the Double Blues, and that's maybe one they could use. Stanfield sitting on the bench. Certainly Burton could come out to centre half forward. It would just free up a big man. In the meantime, Robinson, who is a former Norwood player, had a stint with the Sydney Swans for a couple of years. That's a real wobbly kick, and Toby Kennett up, couldn't complete it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that it's incumbent upon Feast to be able to cover up what's going on. Plenty of colour in the crowd, but you know, Simon Feast is the back playing ruckman, and he's got to be able to chop that off. When Norwood have control of the foot, he's just got to go and pick Keating up. Otherwise, you start to unbalance things.
Yeah, I agree with Stephen.
But you've got to try something. That's the point, isn't it?
You've got to be responsible for your opponent as well. And Keating at the moment, I mean, he is working up and down the ground. He's working a little bit harder than what Simon Feast is. 2 kicks and 5 handballs to Brodie Atkinson. This one towards half forward. Little nudge from Bowman. The umpire saw the infringement. Little undisciplined Lockley. And a fraction, I think, frustrated. Yeah, clear cut that one as we see it in replay.
back in play. Lang applies the tackle. Down goes Clements in the backs of the umpire. That's a Clements free. He's probably been the Redlegs' best defender in this match so far. He's just worked hard to get under the ball and into the contest. But it's coming back. It was an earlier free. Scotty Bassett. Well, they're just not moving the ball quickly, the Redlegs, and making the options. This time, out goes Lachlan Bowman, provides an option. Bassett took it. A little chip over the top. When I say little chip, that's a small chip that's travelled 50. Keating underneath it with Feast. It was a good contest again. Toby Kennett sets out after it. Paddles it back inboard. Scotty Doreen. Well, he's been missing for a while. Obst working hard. This time the kick is a good one. Underneath that one, Harley couldn't complete the transaction. And Geddes across the line. And there is Stanfield, fellas, waiting for his chance.
Yes, he's been out for a few weeks now playing reserves football. No player loves that, especially with his ability. 5 goals last week in the reserves. He's clearly back to something like best form.
Now Norwood
from the bench
with Obst getting plenty of the footy. They work it out inside the 50-metre line now. Best position was Threadgold. Plenty of experience. It gives away a few centimetres, but he's got so many other attributes that make up for it that on that occasion you read it the best. Took a relieving mark. Just every now and again you want your full-back to do that, don't you? In fact, more often than not you want them to be able to stop it. But every now and again you rely on it very heavily. A couple of other updates. Port Adelaide are playing Central District. Port Adelaide by 1 point. It'll be a very good game down there. In the Bays, a miserable season for them at the moment. McGuinness is winning that one against his old mate McDermott by 16 points.
Not over yet though, is it? Still a long way to go in that match. That's early in the second quarter at Prospect Oval. Seamus Maloney on screen, working very hard for the Double Blues. Very good crowd enjoying this. We hope you are at home as Keating and Feast go at it again. This time it was Keating, but it's down the throat of Richter. Twitt dives on top of it. Clements in pursuit of him. It's Lennon who releases Threadgold, who races through the middle, delivers it up high. Out comes Fleming, 3 deep. Couldn't quite get to the contest. Bassett front position, brought the ball to ground. Then Lachlan Bowman dribbles it out. Irvin comes back inboard. He's well rounded up by Fosdyke. Around the corner it goes. Good work deep in defence was Fleming. Oh, that was cool. Bowman wider still to Dantokia, and their experience really showing in the Red League defence.
Ball ace. His little chip kick, a bit symptomatic of what they're doing at the moment. Chipping it around. Ball ace, 4 kicks and 3 handballs. This will be 5 and 3. But chip, 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 and they're probably about 20 metres better off. It's just not working for them at the moment. That's more the ticket. Up towards centre-half forward, get a contest around it and then run it. Now Maloney pushes it back to Feast. Couple of handballs, gives Geddes just a little bit of time to centre wing, and Borley sits there. He's under the pump, wasn't he? Because Irvin smashed through like the 5:30 Express coming from the Adelaide railway station.
Underneath this one, Scotty Doreen, good courage. The pack was coming. He stood his ground beautifully. Now he plays on quickly. That's what the Red League need. A quick movement from the defensive zone. Obst releases it forward. Sujai Cook has plenty of space. Time for a couple of bounces. He's 80 metres out. Lifts the eyes and goes long. Look at this. Plim underneath it. The big fella's got it. Well, it was a good setup and the ball came in quickly. That's where the Red Legs really used it beautifully that time. Yeah, tremendous build up there. They had the numbers. You just gave Cook a little bit of time there. Did relax his kick, lifted the eyes, and that's, I mean, it's good to see when a player is going forward. They're just not bumbling the ball high, expecting his forward players to take the big marks. They just lift their eyes, put it out in front, and allow Big Plim to take the grab. Plim from 40 directly in front, drills it. And that's his first, that's his 5th career goal, right through the middle. And I don't think there was a more important goal so far in his season.
Big lump of a lad, isn't he? Listed at 195 centimetres, 105 kilograms.
He might have trimmed down. That was the start of the season. He certainly seems to have trimmed down a bit since then.
And size 14 shoes.
Sand shoes by the look of them too.
I bet his feet haven't trimmed down.
Come on, Dennis.
Whenever you're ready, Mark. As we go down to Michael Parsons.
And I think the coach of Sturt in Phil Carman has recognised the danger of those big guys on the forward line for Norwood, and Barry Stanfield is going to come on and fill one of those key defensive roles.
Just that little bit of extra height, hasn't he? McIntosh in the thick of things again. Score check 5-4 to 4-5. The Red Legs are up by 5 points. It's 11.5 minutes into this second term. And the lead's changed times. Changed hands quite a number of times so far. Keating just that little bit of extra height. Quick hand down in front of the pack was Soderstrom. Outside of screen, working first, there will be Doreen. Oh, it's a great mark. You'd have to pay that. Umpire's called play on from a mark.
Well, hang on,
that's a free kick. I mean, he's made an error there, so either way, I suppose they deserve to get hold of the footy.
No, he indicated afterwards a push. First one was a mark, and then he indicated a push.
Okay, ball ace. Obst. Whistle's gone, but again, it's been called the play on. Now, Lennon. You better hurry up with it, Bruce. He gets it inside centre half forward. This is what they do pretty well. They've obviously got great confidence in their half forward line with Lang around the body. Twit could see the player in white. They've got 2-on-1 down there, the double blues. But Julian Burton's only got one hand. Makes it a bit hard, doesn't it? Lang, one step round the corner and kicks a goal. No, that's a point.
The change has been made on the bench. We've seen Marcus Thompson come off, and Barry Stanfield has gone to centre half back.
Okay, Mark, thanks for that. And 4 points the margin. It is tight, isn't it? Fosdyke in front of Irving. Irving, that's been a very good battle. Fosdyke, 4 kicks, 3 handballs, finding a little bit of the ball, looks for Macca, out it goes. Macca buried himself into the turf at Adelaide Oval. 3 kicks, 3 handballs for Macca as he works himself into this game. Plim was the target. That's good work. He brings it forward and Borlase drives it forward. Malloy underneath that one. Comes back for a second opportunity. One step. Sujai Cook again goes long. Pascoe marks. Will he stand and kick it or will he play on? Ooh. Well, he's not confident. You can just see the indecision in his mind. And he kicked a point moments ago from this very spot.
Yes, Pascoe still looking around, see if the player is making any movement for him. One of his teammates. He should go back. He should come around and bring the ball back.
Check side, the kick. He looks like he's going for it. He'll kick it off the end of the ball, bring it back.
Yeah.
The goal umpire likes it, the crowd likes it. That's made amends, and Pascoe gets his first. Well, that was an important one for the Redlegs, and he did a better job of that one.
Well, the Norwood side sharing around the goals. We've got 6 individual goal kickers up to this stage of the game, and also with the double blues got 4 individual goal kickers. But again, Norwood just persisting, putting the ball high in the area. They've got 2 big targets there with Pascoe and also Plim, and they really are relying on those 2 key forwards to take the big marks and kick the big goals. And down the boundary, Mike Parsons.
And I've been watching Simon Feast the last couple of times he's had to go for the ball. I don't reckon he's gone quite as hard as he could have, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a bit of an injury from that clash out on the outer in the first quarter.
In the meantime, Stephen White's got it 60 metres out. Look at that for a thumping kick right up to the square. Burton, a little bit of a push and a shove. It comes out the back. Can't quite get to it, but Richter can and kicks a goal. The double blues bounce back straight away. Doesn't kick many, John Richter, but that's an important one.
Well, 4 points the margin, and that's the benefit of getting the ball in quickly, isn't it? Burton was very good, was out of the contest, ran around and just created something, Mark, and set it up.
Yes, they had the numbers there. Burton did some strong work there with Fleming. Ball came to ground. Richter just there, got around 2 players. But just those sort of 50-50 contests just had players in the right position, and Richter read the ball better than most players up there. Got to the contest and kicked his first goal.
15 and a half minutes gone, second term, 4-point ball game. Stay with us till 5. This is our own version of a showdown because it's 1 versus 2, and the teams are living up to the expectation of the media hype in this one. Cunningham short, Sujai Cook half volley, couldn't quite get it. It's 3-on-1 when he got it out. Lennon holds the ball in the area and forces a bounce.
Necessity is the mother of invention, of course, with Soderstrom going off the ground. Stanfield's gone to centre half back. Don't be surprised if that's not a really good thing, A, for the double blues, but B, for Stanfield. Instead of putting him onto the forward line where he's under all sorts of pressure, fair chance he'll run himself into some good form at centre half back.
Yeah, very good point. And
they need Barry Stanfield, more importantly, come finals time.
I think that's a very good point. When you think about his performance earlier last year with Modra, he really set up the Crows forward line. When he came back to the double blues, they were in a bit of bother.
Resurgence.
And that's when they came good. He kicked 5.
Adelaide Oval here it was.
5 goals in the final quarter to win the game. Now, who was it against? Central? And it set it up beautifully for them.
It was Central's, David.
Atkinson comes back inboard. He's finding the ball again. Irvin's been very good on that left boot. Well, what about the kick, though? There was no one home. It just carried way too far. It didn't measure the kick at all. Bassett handballs forward, upended. Play on, said the umpire, recovers the ball, gets it out to Dantoki, who heads towards the boundary line, tackled over it, Well, that's just sheer experience.
Yes, that's what you put it down to. Jerry Dan Tosh, you realised the numbers weren't there for the Redlegs. Saw the white line, that's the direction that he was going for.
And got the fever.
Took the heavy bump, he took the heavy tackle, but made sure the ball went out over the line.
Gee, you have to like Lang though, don't you? He was back at it for a second crack very quickly. Weatherall, 51 metres out exactly towards Burton. Under some pressure back there, that Norwood defence. Dan Tokia, as the lad said, lots of experience and time. Now, Lennon's on the back play, which means that Norwood are trying to work it out with run. They do that okay, but there is Lennon, who provides a blockade and forces Obbs to go very high, making it very difficult for the half-forward line. And you've seen a fair bit of that so far. A bit stodgy from the Redlegs.
I'm pretty impressed with this lad today so far, fellas. Young Borlace, number 55. He really is. He's only 17 years of age, only playing his 3rd game of league football, but really is high amongst Norwood's best players.
Feast wins that one, goes to the back door. Macca had the chance of feeding off to Borlaze or Kiki. He decided on the ladder. High one to Malloy, one-handed attempt, recovers. He seemed to have lost a little bit of weight, looks better for it, Malloy, by the way. On the left boot, around the corner, and thread goal marks. In other matches around town this afternoon, Central by 11 points over Port. Port Adelaide at home. North Adelaide trailed Glenelg by 3 goals at home. So the home side's not faring too well.
Clements just gets a fist to it. Plenty of good tackling. Atkinson came out with it, was looking for a runner, wasn't he? How about that for an instinct? Just looked around, looked to hand it off with the handball, but there was no one there. Dan Tokia, a little faker, decided to go with the kick in the end. There's a little Barney going on just at the bottom of the screen there. McIntosh in the meantime, the legs pumping towards half forward, right on the 50-metre line. He's making a pest of himself, Plim. Pretty good mark.
Yep.
It's Davey and Feast who are locked in embrace. Meanwhile, up to full forward. I reckon they'll try and run it through the double blues if they've got any sense, even though they're 3-on-1. Good contest from Pascoe.
Back out in the middle, Feast just was coming to separate, I think, Atkinson and McIntosh. And Todd Davies took exception, as we'll check what that's for. An interchange. I think that's just normally Richter.
Didn't chase Dan Toshi, coming out the back line, realised that he eventually could have got to him and then put the foot down. But really, I don't think Coach Phil Cullen was too happy with one of his senior players.
And Michael Curtis on for his first game. Michael.
Yes, he is, and also at the other end of the ground, Sturt are going to move Julian Burton up the ground a bit and put Adam Lang into the full forward position. Just a little restructure there.
Well, it's been impressive so far.
Blood rule.
There's a few tactical manoeuvres going on out there. Plim's coming off, and I don't know whether he's sore or not, but he's going to be replaced by
Matty James.
Matty James, yes.
That's blood rule tricky.
Yes, the game stopped. Threadgold's just waiting on it.
He has lost a lot of weight, Anthony Plim. And you saw him there early in the season. He was carrying that extra tyre, and all of a sudden he has trimmed down. Nearly looks as fit as Dave Mackay.
He's getting some length from those kicks, Threadgold. That's gone inside the centre square, where Stanfield's marked it. Didn't quite give himself enough room, and his kick's a little high as well. Burton, contest was okay. Davey is crunched. Well done by Keating to almost snare it. Lennon, Geddes, quick kick forward. Was pretty well read by Bowman in the end. 2-on-1 back there. Took it well. If they can sweep it across the far side, they had a spare one, but they didn't use that. Instead, they've got a spare one on the far side. So either way, the options were okay. Cunningham with a bounce inside half-back.
Obbs squeezes one forward. Doreen. A high bomb. Who's under this one? Pascoe from behind. Took the big fly but couldn't complete it. Weatherall dragged off the ball. Play on, said the umpire. Robertson taken high. Now the umpire says he'll have a bounce.
Tremendous desperation shown by both sides there. First it was Weatherall committed himself as the ball came to ground. Took it, realised the players were going to get crunched. Took it, played for the free kick. In came the Norwood player there, and Stanfield coming across was Cook. So a couple of Crow teammates there having a bit of a tete-a-tete at ground level.
Robertson did the hard yards on that one, didn't he? And Cook almost dragged his head off. Weatherall, who's been a tough little back pocket player, started his career as a rover, but it's Harley around the corner running into space as Geddes, who I've been very impressed with this year. He just seems to have got better and better as the season's gone on. So too's this guy, Maloney. That one was an unusual kick though, and it took a leg break.
Kick for touch. He's got the ball up there. He allows his players now to get up there, set up again as White will take the ruck as Feast sits back.
5 points the difference. The Redlegs have the advantage, and they do so in that ruck tap out as well with Keating. Now, how would you play that? A free kick? Yes, too high.
It had to be.
Doesn't mind putting it on the lines. Young ball ace. Got it high, got the reward. Their switching's been pretty good. The Dan Toshier, far side. Lennon closes in. The spare one across the top is going to be Obst. Doesn't he have some leg speed and can run all day as well? If it sits for him, he's okay. Takes off. Centre half forward now. They want Keating to present himself, but that's an impossible kick, Aaron. He wanted him to drag it back in. Pascoe was there. And the boundary line is going to be found pretty well by Stanfield. Thought it might have been deliberate, but no such thing, according to the umpire.
It looked very obvious sitting up here, but the ball did go to the ground.
From the throw-in, Pascoe from behind. Feast recovers, had the kick smothered by Cook. Play on, said the umpire, as Geddes just picks it up nonchalantly, goes forward to two number 5s, Burton and Fleming. Was that a push in the back? No, said the umpire. Atkinson was in late, and Todd Davey wraps it up. Mark, if you think there'd be an award for the most courageous player, I think Todd Davey would win it.
Yeah, we saw last year's grand final. Had a little bit of a sleep there on the ground there, I think during the third quarter, where big clash of heads. But he really is, you have the size of the player, courageous.
Ball A's went forward. Geddes again plucks that one off. Macca just tries to thwart the attack. Now Geddes steadies. White front position. Bowman's doing a good job on him. He shut him down virtually. Curtis first kick for him. Goes forward. And Twit just inside the line. He's a very clever player. Puts it to advantage. That was a very, very clever kick. And Irvin finishes it off for the double blues. Twit set it up beautifully.
Yes, again, it wasn't pretty football. It was just forced up forward. Just having the players once again in the right position. Maybe a free kick here should have been paid to Lang. Oh no, he played for it. But Twit, realising that the pressure was there, just put the ball up. Lang quite content to sit back behind Fosdyke. The bounce favoured the player in Irvine, and he kicks his first goal for the afternoon. Spring Sturt's back now. They're back in front, fellas.
And again, the lead changes. 24 and a bit minutes gone. Second term, 6-6 to 6-5. On centre wing, it's a fair battle going on. You can see them at top of screen. Obst and Lennon standing each other. Obst, here he is again. This will be 13th possession for the quarter to McIntosh. Quick kick from the centre square up inside half forward. Stanfield just really wanted the footy there. That attack was probably a bit high as well. The umpire saw it and he'll get a free kick. So a couple of possessions for Big Bassett.
There's just need a little bit of confidence here. He's not the quickest man over the turf, but neither is Big Plim or Pascoe.
Oh, that was a push. Play on to the umpire. Lennon, we might cover Stanfield later because I think he's the player who really needs to be run into form and work hard. Triggy would be my reading of his physique.
Yes, well, we spoke about it a moment ago that playing in defensive action would probably help him. Just run it one way, see if you can get some of the footy and run yourself back into form. There is Lennon and Obst. Wouldn't be surprised if Bruce has been told just to tighten up a little bit.
White flicks forward the handball. Obst just pushes it out to Cook. That was a clever release as Cook goes long towards half forward. Feast there. Oh, free kick that one. And the umpire's missed it. So Maloney was dragged off it without the ball. Comprehensively dragged off it. Ball A's. Now Lux are fortunate they'll get a goal out of this, the Redlegs. And Harley finishes it beautifully. Oh, the Double Blue fans wouldn't be happy with that one at all. And you can hear the crowd's reaction to it, but Harley doesn't mind. He gets his first, and Norwood 7. They're 7-5, leading Sturt 6-6.
Well, I'm sure the umpire's coach will be watching a replay of this on umpire in perfect condition. Big Barry Stanfield was picked up and thrown to the ground without the football. The free kick should have been paid. But as we see here, good handball by Ball Ace. Over to Harley. Harley finished it off, but Norwood back in front, fellas. It really is swinging.
Well, it's befitting, isn't it? 1v2, 7-5 to 6-6. And a bounce down once more. Feast and Keating. This time Feast had perhaps the better run of it, timed it best and got a finger to it. Shovels it forward. And bursting through is Doreen. He's a good player, isn't he? Right from the heart of Adelaide Oval now to half forward flank. Malloy crunches into the turf. The Blues work it out. Weatherall. Now they've got some runners. They've got runners behind and in front. Geddes is one of them. They do this very well. Pump it to centre half forward and Burton takes the mark. Plays on, doesn't waste any time. He'd want to be good from there, Julian. He is. He gets another one. Julian Burton's in pretty good form. He gets his second for the afternoon. And the Double Blues, well, they do it pretty well. They get themselves back in front.
Seesawing affair here at Adelaide Oval. Bask in sunshine, middle of winter. Beautiful day, and the crowd is out here to support both the top side and the second side on the ladder. Good mark here by Burton out in front. Realised the goal face was free of players. Turned onto his right leg and kicked his second for the afternoon.
1 point the margin in favour of the Double Blues. They regain the lead as we go back into the middle. 27.5 minutes into the second term. Stay with us throughout half-time as we preview tomorrow's showdown for Stanfield forward. Oh, Toby Kidd at one-hander. Good mark. Clever mark.
That was a beauty.
The Premier again really has improved over the last month and really has become a bit of a match winner there on the half-forward flank for the Double Blues.
You'd really wanted to get two hands at it, but to be fair to him, one was well locked away, so it was a good mark.
60 out and goes long towards the square. Bowman was up as the siren sounds. It's half-time at Adelaide Oval and a very slender margin of 1 point in favour of the Double Blues.
Yes, what a football we have witnessed here at half-time. 60 minutes of football we've been out there. Brodie Atkinson on screen as he's walking off really has started the game so well. A little bit quiet in that second quarter, but it really has been picked up well by Davey. Aaron Keating there started the game on Simon Feast. Really has kicked an opportunity to kick 3 goals this afternoon. He's got 1 on the board so far, as you're having a word. Doreen there alongside him also has been pretty impressive up to half-time, playing off the half-back line for Norwood. Captain McIntosh, Captain Courageous, really has tried to set his side alight. But Ball Ace there, just getting a little bit of appreciation for his effort up to half-time. Really has been outstanding. And big fella, David Mackay, Simon Feast, I mean, he really has tried his hard. He's taken a hell of a lot of heavy knocks out there.
Yeah, but I think
some we haven't seen that really have been hard clashes.
I think Keating's had the better of it though, Mark, though.
Well, you'd have to say one-on-one in the centre square. Feast is on top, but around the ground, just the work that the Keating is doing. This is just a little bit more than what Simon Feast is.
So 4 points to Norwood at quarter time, 1 point to the Double Blues at half time. Probably the minor premiership at stake here today, you'd imagine. The Double Blues just with their noses in front. To find out what happens in the second half, stay with us on your ABC.
Quarter time, Mark Naley walks us through the goal kickers.
We see there, David, the only player that kicked 2 goals this afternoon was Julian Burton for the Double Blues. He's had 2. Twit, Kennett, Irvine and Richter have had 1 each. And for Norwood, you can see on screen Cook, Plim, Harley, Malloy and also Pascoe, the individual goal kickers. And statistically, Dave, we just see they're fairly close. I mean, Norwood just had a couple more kicks also with the marks are going Norwood's way. Handballs are pretty even, only 1 between the 2. The free kicks are pretty even. Hit-outs also favouring big Simon Feast. And just individually, David, we see Irvin for Sturt has had 13. He's had 9 and 4. Weatherall's had 11. Petura's also had 11 with Atkinson with 11. And for Norwood, Ops has had 18 up to half-time. It's 11 kicks and 7 handballs, 14 in the second quarter. Bulace, the young 17-year-old's had 15. Doreen's had 14. And Lockie Bowman at centre-half back has had 11.
Thanks as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
And I think you made the point halfway through that second quarter that Barry Stanfield playing at centre-half back is an opportunity for him to run into the form. And we said earlier in the day that the centre-half back line of Sturt is one of their strong points, but if Barry Stanfield can come in, add that extra height at centre-half back and establish himself there for the run into the finals, I really think it's going to add another dimension to the Sturt Football Club.
Michael, just behind you, Stephen Pitts walking along the boundary line with that ankle heavily iced. I don't think we'll see him again today.
No, they made a point of that at quarter time that both him and Anthony Harvey are out for the day, and that's where the effort was asked for from Peter Road. Only 19 players for Norwood for the second half.
Now the sun has come out, we can see that in that shot. Is there any breeze to speak of at all?
Not really, just a gentle zephyr floating across the ground. I wouldn't say at any advantage either way.
Thank you. Stay with us. Michael Parsons will bring you updates of injuries and interchange movement from the boundary line as we prepare for the second half here at Adelaide Oval. It's first versus second, Sturt first, Norwood second, and 1 point the margin at halftime. You couldn't have written the script any better. Stay with us. We're live until 5 on the ABC. Your commentators for the second half, Mark Naley and Stephen Trigg.
Yes, the lead has changed 11 times in the first half. It has been a fascinating game, no doubt about it. 48 plays 47. Look at that for a look of determination. Big Aaron Keating, he's ready to do battle against Feast again. Perfect bounce in the middle of the ground. Keating with a superior height. Didn't go anywhere apart from Atkinson. Twitt hands it back. That's just a little bit ambitious. Now with 3 on to 1, the Double Blues do it pretty well across the top towards Lennon. The handball to Richter, who ran forward, was okay. Read it pretty well too, did John. 55, 60 metres out. Pumps it. Maybe within about 15, and cross came the spoil, was okay. Mervyn hands it back to Burton, who should kick one. He does. Great start. They kick one within 30 seconds, you know, in the second term. And now Burton's done it again inside perhaps the first 40 seconds of this third term. Burton gets his third.
We see Richter coming inside. He's done this twice this afternoon. We saw it in the first quarter. Ignoring the leads going forward, going for over the top of the pack, players running back. But Burton, this afternoon, statistically, he's only had 3 kicks, but more importantly, fellas, he's kicked 3 goals.
Can't ask for anything better than a 100% record. That's what Julian Burton's got. Fleming's done a pretty good job so far, but the Sturt full forward has 3. We're only a minute into the third quarter. Feast and Keating. Keating, we believe, has had the upper hand in the first half. Davey out of the middle did well. Cook just committed himself to the contest. Maloney held his position. Now it's Macca flicking it out to Malloy, who was thrown away by Irving. At the back door, Geddes releases it to combination of players Richter and Stanfield, and now marked by White, who's doing a pretty good job at centre-half forward for the Double Blues. Brings it back inboard. Weatherall speeds away with it, 60 out and closing, just lobs it into the goal square, 1-on-1. Burton did well to get to the contest. Bassett bundled across the line by Lang, and will have a throw in.
Young Lang's been moved up forward, but we're just talking about Keating and Feast's influence in the game up to half-time. The second quarter, I mean, Feast didn't have a kick, had 2 handballs, didn't take a mark, and Keating in that second quarter only had 1 kick, no handballs, and only 1 mark. So really, I mean, those players aren't doing enough.
Quick kick right up towards the square, and Lachlan Bowman smashes it through. So 54, 55 now playing 47. And the Double Blues doing all of the attacking in the early part of this third term. 2.5 minutes gone. 8-7 to 7-5.
Dan Tokia plays onto himself, lifts the eyes and takes the long option. Bowman was front position. That's been a problem all day. Bowman and Keating have really competed on 3 or 4 occasions. It's been a problem for the Redlegs. Rather than looking after each other and perhaps even applying a shepherd, they've been spoiling each other. It's Atkinson. Loose ball. Burton on the left, bends it around. It bounces high. Fleming, his direct opponent, a long way away from him, takes it in the goal square. Chips it to Doreen, who lifts the eyes further afield and has found Clemens.
It's pretty packed on centre wing. Looking for a contest now at centre-half forward, where Stanfield's doing his duty pretty well. Round the body went Harley. Front spot's where you need to be when those quick ones come down. Geddes did it okay from the back spot. It's a great tackle from young ball ace. Dead heat.
It's very quick. The whistle was the umpire. Good work again by the young 17-year-old. Applied the tackle, held the player to the ground. A good decision by the umpire, but maybe just a little bit prematurely.
Feast down Macca, claimed by Patura, got out the handball to Keating, who couldn't dispatch it. Geddes working hard. Macca comes into support, and Malloy just comes up squealing, letting himself be heard. He is a tough competitor, Malloy. Loves the contest. Really, I suppose he's a self-adopted disciple of Gary McIntosh, the way he looks and goes about his football. Not a bad role model, though, is it, to follow? Cunningham and Twitt. It's been a good contest this afternoon as well. Both players working hard this time across the boundary line, and we'll keep a close eye on the action, as you are in the grandstand.
Cunningham has 5 kicks and 2 handballs. Thought he might have been a bit more productive than that.
What's Twitt, Triggy?
Certainly a better player. Twitt is 6 and 3.
Pretty even.
Yeah, Twitt's been okay. Richter tackled but still got a handball away. Thread goal. This is better pressure from Norwood. Obst. Now he's got a couple of players in support across the top. The handball's on. It is now. Across the top he goes. Maybe waited just a little bit too long, but it was okay in the end because Norwood pushed it forward. But half a chance. The bounce was cruel, wasn't it, for Pascoe, and the Double Blues are able to close it down. Still the ball is live, though.
I tell you one thing the Red Leg forward line is doing, Stephen, which they weren't probably in the first quarter, is really fighting for it hard in their forward line. I think it's been a real turnaround. That ball was coming out very easily in the first half.
I can imagine it was one of the themes. It was certainly, as Michael reported at quarter time, one of the double blues themes.
Plim in ruck, but taken away by Cunningham. Got the kick forward in space. Pascoe came from behind. No free kick, said the umpire. Richter missed it and left it behind. Stanfield goes to ground under a tackle from Fosdyke. It was a great tackle in the finish. Well, don't they need him, Stanfield?
Port Adelaide in the Central District. Alberton Oval, the Bulldogs by 11 points. At Prospect Oval, the Tigers, they're holding sway. 18 points the difference.
Sujai Cook takes the loose ball, releases it to Fosdyke, one step and snaps towards goal. This one's offline and it's a point. So 8 goals, 7 Sturt, 7-6 Norwood. It's a tight game just 6 minutes into the third quarter. Keith Conlon, he barracks for Sturt, Triggy, doesn't he?
He certainly does. He's a great supporter. One of the old Mound Mob. Well, I won't call him old. One of the Mound Mob who are old. He knows what I mean.
You didn't dig out of that one.
He's a good fella, Keith Conlon. Great supporter.
Don't square up now. Keating from behind. Couldn't quite take the grab. Good commitment, Robertson, at the contest. But look at Todd Davey. He's like a terrier dog with a bone, Davey. Any time he's near that ball, the contest becomes just a super contest. He loves it and gives everything. Keating this time wins it, thumps it forward, and second time paddles it down to Cunningham. It's a good combination, Keating and Cunningham. A high ball up, Pascoe front position. Threadgold from behind affected the spoil. Cook came in late, but the umpire had already blown the whistle.
Just a bit of a lull at the moment in the game, and just the intensity has just dropped off.
Give you some idea of the evenness, though. Inside 50s is always a pretty good measurement. 27 times for Sturt, 26 times for Norwood. So with just 7 points the difference on the scoreboard, it's not all that surprising that both have gone into their forward lines a very similar number of times. Hit-outs are 17 apiece. The marks are very even. The kicks are very even. The side that stays with this the longest, you think, is going to win it. Richter from the side of the boot and towards the boundary line. A couple of Sturt players there. Atkinson's one, and he reckons that the boundary line's the best option.
He was just waiting for things to erupt now. Both sides realising just how important this is, and more importantly, Steve, we're talking about statistically how close it is. They both had, if you add up those figures, they both had 167 possession so far into the game.
Harley flicks it on to Sujai Cook, who has Davey in support, 50 out and closing. It's a high bomb deep into the pocket. Pascoe will need to set out after it and fly for it, but Robertson, the former redleg, flew and missed it. Malloy feeds it back. Harley one step and shoots for goal, but it's a shocker. Out of bounds on the full. He missed by 20 metres.
Yes, I gave those umpires a little bit of encouragement at half-time as they were coming off the ground. I passed them and said, "You're doing a good job, fellas. Only one mistake so far in the game. We've picked you." They looked at me and said, "Thank you, Mr. Nayley. We respect your opinion."
And they really said as if you'd know what you're talking about.
Still back chatting him, aren't you? 8.5 minutes gone, third quarter. This looms like it's going to be a great finish, doesn't it? Belted away by Plim. Obviously had the doctor fixed up that bleeding. Harley, quick kick forward and it goes out of bounds. Remains at 7 points the difference. Tom Harley had a little taste of AFL footy. Today, pretty good work so far. Came on midway through the first term. 8 kicks and 2 handballs. Certainly made his presence felt. Now let's have a look at Feast going to action with Plim. Plim perhaps a little heavier. McIntosh, look at that. That's the way you do it to get yourself first go at the footy. Cunningham. Quick kick around the corner by Bassett was smothered and it goes across the line. In fact, it wasn't Bassett, of course. It was young Nicholas Fosdyke.
This football's going nowhere at the moment. It's been inside the 50-metre half circle for the Redlegs for the last 6 minutes. Both sides pretty desperate to get the ball. Tremendous amount of pressure, but the boundary umpire is working overtime.
Now, you don't enjoy this, the ebb and flow of a battle? I mean, it hasn't been free-flowing football, but have a look at the tackles and the smothers.
Well, they both play a very similar style of football.
Okay,
Ball I will say.
Ball A's a high one. Who wants it? Courage required here. Pascoe didn't quite get to the contest. Loose ball falls to Maloney. On the right boot, he goes through the midfield. Doreen set out after it, but he was beaten by the bounce. Just couldn't quite get there. Clements, whose first quarter was outstanding, sweeps it around on the left boot. What a beautifully measured kick, and he finds Fosdyke, who's taken the ground by Lennon. That'll be a 25-metre penalty for sure. Well, the umpire was right on the job.
Yeah, you wouldn't say there was much difference between that one there and also the one in the first or second quarter there. I think it was the first quarter when we saw Bowman put down, I think it was Lennon, in a similar position at the other end.
Umpire Ron Bettridge, probably a little more experienced, measured it, I think, properly on that occasion. This will bring Fosdyke within kicking distance. He's 45 out and closing. It's a wobbly old kick, but it's still straight. That's all that counts. It goes through for Fosdyke's first, and the Redlegs bring it back within a point.
Well, the Redlegs now have 7 individual goal kickers as Fosdyke just sat back on this, took the mark and took the tackle. It wasn't necessary from Lennon. He realised that Obbs was inside. The handball could have been given across, but the umpire realised that a little bit crude the tackle afterwards. Put Fosdyke to ground. 25 metres was awarded.
So 1 point the difference here at Adelaide Oval, where Port Adelaide are playing Central District. It's 3 points the difference, so Port Adelaide are closing in. Prospect Oval, Glenelg by 6 points. Again, North Adelaide are starting to close the gap as well there. Richter, Clements, the 2 number 25s, both desperate at the ball. So too was Cartinieri, who jumped on the footy.
It's a tough one.
Well, he's looking too high.
Keating.
There's a few boys throwing themselves in with some reckless abandon at the moment. Good tackle. Keating again. This is hard work. This is what tires you out, and fitness might just play a little part in this, because there's going to be some sore lads out there shortly. Quick kick forward. Finally they get some space. There's a big pack of players. I think the Sturt defence have worked it out that Norwood now are starting to find centre-half forward pretty well. McIntosh got it from Obbs. Watch this for a pass. It's beautiful. Just beautiful.
We talked about Obbs, Mark, and the way he disposes of it. Macca never misses the beat.
Yes, those old legs, the 34-year-old legs still pump. Can't kick over a jam tin lid, but he can find a play when he has to.
To you, harsh.
Well, the good news is there's no jam tins out there.
You are so harsh.
Pascoe.
And you're a long kick, Mark.
Oh, yeah.
A chance to put Norwood in front again, which I think, if I'm right, Ian Rockridge, will be the 13th time the lead has changed. 12th. Off beam, no. 3 for a behind. Guess what? The scores are tied away. 55 apiece.
He's not happy with himself, Pascoe. Just giving himself a little bit of a spray. Realises there's a chance there for the Norwood to get back in it, but just this game is just going to go, I tell you, to the 29-minute mark of this last quarter. It'll still be this close, so stay tuned.
Dry day.
Great game of footy, David.
Yeah, it is a great game. Hope you're enjoying it at home on the ABC. Pascoe, what a good commitment to the contest that was. Down it goes to Borlase. Lloyd showed great courage. Feeds it out to Keating, who has been terrific. Around the corner as he just fended off his direct opponent. Plim a little nudge on Threadgold. Threadgold held his footing. Maloney, Geddes, they build from defence. This is where they did it in the first half, the Double Blues. Moved it out of defence so easily. Norwood have been very good in this first third quarter, keeping the ball in the area. Twitt, Kennett, here's where they go. A high bomb, Burton one-on-one. Opposed now to Bassett. Fleming was very good. Lang underneath it, couldn't quite get there. Burton comes again. Lang tried to crash through. Clements just held him up in the contest, and Bassett steadies with a beautiful short kick. It was lovely. Measured to Borlase, who streams away.
It's good footy, isn't it? Tight. Lots of pressure in close. You've got to be sure of your ball handling on these days. Double Blues, I reckon, at the moment are just starting to run forward a bit much instead of getting that balance behind the footy and in front. If I was Phillip, I'd be just a little bit worried about that, Phil Carman. Just got to be careful about that you don't get too many on the attacking side and running forward, because if the ball turns over in these pressure situations, you can be hurt by it. Now, Keating, again, just that little bit of extra height. McIntosh knew exactly where Borlase was. The quick kick forward. Who's in front? Maloney. He's cool, isn't he? Threadgold looking for a handballing option, but go with the kick, Chris. He does now to within 50 metres of goal. Bowman holds ground, does it pretty well. Offhands, Twitt kicked the goal from a similar spot in the first term. Not going to this time because Norwood defended. That's a pretty ordinary handball. Well done by Weatherald. Short passes on. They've got one spare at Atkinson, who ran into the goal and should kick it. He does. He's first for the day.
Oh, there's a bit of weight being thrown around there. Brody Atkinson, Clements, they're in it again. Big White's in there. A big number 19. In comes Julian Burton, just to realise that boys are there. Goal kickers.
Another kick, boys.
Another kick as well, is it? Where's it coming? Back to White, coming back to Atkinson.
And what happened was that Julian Burton was pushed by Bowman, and Twitt off the footy was attacked as well. And young Jared will get a kick at it. Now, you don't see this very often in footy, just quietly. Twitt has one, a chance to kick his second. Well, on such an even day, how critical is this? 35 metres out, let's say 40, and he's kicked it. Peter Rhodes, sitting just down in front of us, would be absolutely livid by it. In fact, he's just chewed off the handle of the door. Well, that can hurt you, can't it, on a day like this, where the seesawing game, 12 times the lead's changed and you give away 2 in a go.
We saw it in the opening round of the year. It was the last time we saw it, when Gilbert McAdam did exactly the same thing at Elizabeth, and Glenelg almost got up and won that day on the strength of a 2-goal effort, and Central had to really peg them back. I reckon that's the one with a 12-point margin now that Norwood might regret, because that's the peg them back target. This is the biggest margin of the day, and it's 12 points, 16 minutes into the third quarter, in a tight affair. There's not much in it.
They've got the work ahead of them now, Norwood. Just remember that come the end of the game, gentlemen, because it might yet be critical. Centre wing.
Oh, he's clean. He is very clean.
He is clean. Was he legged? Play on, the umpire says. Always looks for the handballing option, does Atkinson. Now it comes forward. Lennon's tightened up on Obbs, no doubt about that one as well. It's tight and close. The umpire's found a free kick.
Yeah, they're going to pick up every soft one and settle it down.
Who's the cynic?
Well, I just love to see two teams hard at it, rewarded. You don't want to see soft free kicks. That's not what we're here for.
Ball ace, dragged back in by Irvin. I reckon we'll have a bounce down on the far side. Let's just have a look at that score again. 67 to 55. 12 points the difference. Double Blues just with that edge from those last couple of goals, the Burton and Twitt goals.
17 minutes into the third quarter. It is certainly tight. The emotions are running high, and I'd love to be running out there with a microphone to hear what the players are saying. Cook to Davey was good play. Davey goes high. Good commitment. Robinson couldn't quite get there. Crashing through Threadgold, who's very calm in a crisis. Patura just missed the first target, got the second one. It was Feast who feeds it out to Continuary. Exploding away goes Muff on the left boot, lifts the eyes. What good skills that was. Atkinson decked by Clements. That was a good holding strategy by Clements. And at 25, the result, well, fair enough too, but it's not going to hurt as much as the other one.
It's not a bad move either. I mean, at least it's slowing things up, allowing the players forward of it to be able to pick up their man as Atkinson comes right across the face of the ground, but it's a free kick and it should have been paid.
Maloney on the left, a wobbly one forward. Oh, Burton took front position, just read it better.
Oh, there's no love lost between these two sides. Julian Burton's kicked one already for this quarter. He's kicked 3 for the afternoon. He's flying up for his 4th. The Double Blues at the moment just seem to be working a little bit harder. Only, I reckon, 5 or 6 minutes ago, we were saying that Norwood were getting the numbers around the ball, and they were working very, very hard, but they weren't getting a result. And all of a sudden, Double Blues have bitten back. They've kicked a couple of goals through some silly work being done off the ball. Now's a chance here just to extend their lead, which would be the biggest margin for the day.
Burton has 3 goals from 3 kicks. Make that 4 from 4. That extends the lead. The Double Blues have got a little bit of breathing space, and their fans are roaring.
That's what you want from your full forward, isn't it? You made the point that Norwood have 7 single goal scorers. In fact, 8 single goal scorers. Well, yep. Burton could yet prove to be the difference between the sides.
Well, we covered a game last week between the Eagles and the Panthers down at Woodville Oval. We had a goal kicker at full forward, Matthew Kluzak, former Crows player. He had 7 kicks, 7 goals, and then what more can you ask? He was a match-winning effort.
Michael Parsons, how do you read it?
I'm just coming to tell you that Matthew James has come on the ground to replace Todd Davies. Sorry, fellas, wasn't concentrating.
Yeah, we'll get back on your job.
Thank you for that. You're going to be docked for half an hour's pay, lad. Feast swings it back. They're just starting to get a bit of movement up, aren't they, the Double Blues? Irvin from the centre of the ground has a look at the half forward. They're under some heat back there, Norwood. Quick kick forward now towards Obbs, who's sat ahead of the footy. He's been working back pretty well. I wonder if that's a deliberate ploy, just to keep him a kick ahead of the footy and try and get some avenue through the middle of the ground. Feast. Oh, the kick was average, and that was a very ordinary thing to do, Plim.
He's copped some attention today as, I won't call him the big fella, 50 years. It's a 50-metre, is it?
Well, you wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
the elbow's thrown late.
It was on.
But he has copped a lot of attention, and we see the applause coming from the Double Blue supporters. But the only way you can play Simon Fish, you just got to ruffle a few feathers, because otherwise he will dominate. Oh, come on up. Oh, another one off the field.
Off the ball?
Off the ball, I can say that as well, off the field as well.
Short, look at this, it's dangerous. Out comes Burton, his confidence is growing. Now Fleming was only half a step behind him, but when he takes front position, he's very strong, Burton.
Good signs, the double blues. They're finding their major goal kicker up forward. Julian Burton finding form. Very important time of the year as well.
Philip Carman up out of his seat, went along the boundary line, and 15 metres in was Bruce Lennon. They had a fairly animated discussion.
Now, was Plim reported? Because the umpire saw the infringement, and if he saw him take him with the elbow, he might have been tempted just to... But Burton... Oh, that's a beautiful kick. That is just a beautiful kick. He's got 5. Oh, there's some Sturt fans that like that one. 5 on the board to Burton, and the double blues advanced to 12-7 to Norwood 8-7. Well, there was a point at half-time, and they've blown out now by 4.
Well, Julian Burton definitely is a confidence player. He can be terrible, or he can be fantastic and a match winner. And we've seen this afternoon he's had 5 kicks, 5 goals. He's done the job which has been asked by his coach before the start of the game. It really is. He is the difference between the two sides at the moment.
That was just a super kick. 12-7 to 8-7. Middle of the ground, Keating. There needs something to happen now. Plim got it from Cook, and his quick kick forward was off the side of the boot. Geddes, the competition was good from him. Ball aces there. They can get it forward and get some space and work into that, they're okay, but it's just a bit stodgy at the moment for the Redlegs. Finding themselves mark chasing jumpers, aren't they?
Yes, they are at the moment. Young Continuary's been pretty exciting this afternoon. I mean, when he gets it around the ball, something does happen with it. Whether he palms it out or whether he backs himself and uses his leg speed, which is one of his strengths. But he's running on the ball as a rover and changing with young Twit.
The quick kick forwards taken by Irvin again. There's always a neat looking left leg, and that one's found its target, White. He's had to travel a bit for it. He's a long way from home. His kick's deep into the forward pocket where Twit's worked very hard to find it. Bit dubious though sometimes, aren't they, whether they're a charging or not. I reckon that's a fair decision though, as Dan Tosher takes it. Comes towards centre half back, just a little bit dangerous, but Keating's good enough and certainly has the height to take it at centre half back.
Cook out to Matty James, who measures the kick beautifully. Oh, not so beautifully. Lennon dropped back underneath it, read it superbly. Now Phil Carman's had words with his star wingman, and now he looks like he's firing up, as is Lang, who had a purple patch in the first quarter. He kicked 1 goal 1 and really set the double blues alight early. The kick towards the 10-metre square, plucked off, loose handballs fall, over the top of it, Twit works hard, Richter with the ball, claimed by Sujay Cook. Wasn't a bad effort because he got the ball and Richter, and the handball was on its way out.
What would you be doing here, Mark, if you were Norwood? We'll ask you in just a moment. Must be some sort of a move, or would you just sit? Would you wait?
It's hard to say. I mean, the game is long from being over as yet. Norwood are a very, very good side and are capable of kicking quick goals.
There's no doubt about that. Centre wing now. McIntosh, how's that for a fierce tackle? Holding the ball, he's rewarded for a great tackle, and while he's taking it, we'll just do a couple of quick updates. Port Adelaide and Central District, down at Alberton, 3 points. Gee, there's some close games around, and at Glenelg, well, at the North Adelaide at Prospect, it's Glenelg by 5 points. So they're all close this afternoon in the SANFL, and of course last night it was 3 points in favour of West Adelaide, and that little kick's gone across the boundary line. David out on the full.
Yes, pressure's a funny thing. Harley had nowhere to go, and he didn't have a hand to handle, so he had to kick. He was facing the boundary line, so great pressure by the Sturt defence, and Geddes will take the free kick. We've already mentioned in this commentary how improved he has been this year. Phil Carman certainly bringing out the best in him. Bowman, 1 bite, 2 bites, couldn't get it. Oh, Sujay Cook to the swan dive. That is a great commitment. What about this?
Yeah, sorry, Dave. There's a couple of players out here really haven't stopped trying. One is Sujay Cook. The other player there is young Muffy Continuary. Both players have got a big future, I believe, in AFL football.
15 possessions for Sujay Cook. McIntosh, you can just tell he's elevated his work rate at the moment. Co-captain just trying to get his side back into business. Look at that. You can see all of that on the camera there. Just working very, very hard.
Burton.
Second, third, fourth efforts. Burton, was he pushed? Yes is the answer, Mark. Tripped. Pushed. Fallen over. All of that.
Yeah, we'll just pick it up again as Burton goes forward. I think the legs just caught. Yes, it was a trip from behind. Also, 2 Norwood jumpers over the top of him. So definitely earning the free kick. He's had 5 goals up to this stage. He's had only 5 kicks. He's kicked 30 points, which is more than half of the team score, or not quite the half of the team score. But it really has been a difference.
Well, the angle here isn't quite as severe as it was on his last one, so if his confidence is up,
it is,
and he's kicking as well as that, it's a piece of pie. His 6th goal for the afternoon, and all of a sudden, the Blues have blown it out. It's Burton's 4th goal in the 3rd term, and he's on fire.
Just see there, Norwood players desperately trying to get to Burton. The kick was just spot on. You couldn't have asked for a better opportunity to run onto that ball. Norwood players just lunging forward. They clicked heels, both Burton and his opponent and Daniels, and unfortunately, or Bassett. Unfortunately, Burton kicked another goal. It's his 4th a quarter, as Stephen Trick said.
5 goals the margin, 26 minutes into the 3rd quarter. They talk about the 3rd term being the premiership term. Well, maybe the Double Blues are finding premiership form. Out of the middle they go into their forward 50 again. Twit went over the top of the ball, so too did Lang. And coming up with the loose crumb was Scotty Bassett, who's worked tirelessly in defence this afternoon. He's got the job on Lang, who looked so dangerous early when Pitt had him. Pitt, of course, went off with an ankle injury. And Bassett's done a very good job since. Keating down the throat of Bassett, stolen away by Irvin. On the right boot, a high ball. Not much chance for a forward there. Lang 3 bites at the cherry. Bowman just wraps him up, and Dantokia makes sure of it by stripping the ball. Well, he's a tough defender, Dario Dantokia, isn't he? Just mean and hard, and goes at it all day.
Peter Road obviously concerned, I reckon, by that half-forward line. He's brought Pascoe out to centre-half forward. Plim's gone to full forward in an effort to try and manufacture some run through that half-forward line, which hasn't functioned all that well. Of course, they've got a few problems in the middle of the ground as well at the moment, because Sturt are chopping them up in that area. McIntosh, you've got to admire him, don't you, in every single way, because he has worked extra hard in the last 15 minutes just to try and lift his side. He knows they're in trouble. Here's Pascoe, as I said, playing at centre-half forward now. He's got one-on-one Plim and Threadgold. The kick was ordinary, so it makes it hard for Plim, but he attacked it pretty well offhand. Cross the top, here's a chance, but the defence of Feast is pretty good.
Ball, Vosdyke over the top. Lennon claims him. Couture got a handle on him as well. Well, the crowd are enjoying this contest, and a big crowd. I'm sure it's grown since half-time, as a lot of people have made their way down to Adelaide Oval to just enjoy what has been a tough and very hard spectacle. Keating wins this one again, down the throat of Ball Ace, missed by Ball Ace, recovers the second time, stripped of it by Maloney. Now Fosdyke claimed by Atkinson, wrapped up entirely, and Continuary there to hold the ball in as well. So it's a 3-on-1 contest at many of them.
You had some concerns, as I said at the start of the show, about whether Sturt could score heavily enough and quickly enough to be competitive in finals and in big games. They proceeded in that day to kick 6 in 10 minutes against Central Districts out at Elizabeth Oval. And today, well, this 3rd term has been a blinder from them, as Patura again wreaks some havoc from half-back. Handballs it across the top. So far in this 3rd term, the Double Blues have got themselves 6 goals, and they've done it in very fine style. To the front of the pack, Atkinson, watch this for one take. There it is. And a quick give to Weatherall. You have to wonder about Atkinson, don't you? I mean, he's had one crack at AFL footy, but there's half a chance that there's some AFL clubs still looking at him, I reckon. Twit, free player across the top was Lang, couldn't find him, and the ball's now in dispute once more. Inside half forward, the Malloy tackle was very good.
Tricky, I respect your opinion, but Atkinson's rising 27. The oldest recruit taken last year was Simon Eastow, I think at 24. Ben Thompson, also 24 from Glenelg. So the 2 oldest recruits from South Australia. But, well, Mark Nayley.
That's a dreadful decision. That was a dreadful decision.
Comment umpire
That's
Mark
the
Nayley.
second for the afternoon. Sorry to interrupt you, but that decision, and the poor kid eyes with the ball, had nowhere to go, and the umpire's pinged him for holding the ball.
Doreen drives it long, the siren sound. It's 3-quarter time, and the margin is 30 points at 3-quarter time. What a turnaround. It was 4 points at quarter time in favour of Norwood, 1 point in favour of Sturt at half-time. But look at the blowout, Mark, and the Double Blues mainly through Julian Burton.
Yes, you're looking now at a 5-goal margin. The Norwood side has to kick in this last quarter to get back into this game and keep the double blues scoreless, but it really was. The double blues were electrifying. Norwood, early in that third quarter, Dave, they just tried so hard to get the ball forward. They held it up in their area there for at least 6 or 7 minutes without registering a behind or a goal kicked. All of a sudden, the double blues just found what they've been looking for all afternoon. They just ran the ball from the half-back line, ran it up, kicked goals, but the big playmaker who had the purple patch to that 4 goals, the big Julian Burton, Stephen, was really, I mean, that effort was just sensational.
It was a great effort. It was contributing to a 6-goal turn for the double blues. Just the one for Norwood, in fact none for Norwood. Yeah, one for Norwood. 7-5 to 8-7 they went to, so the margin at three-quarter time is 30 points. We'll be back in a moment with the last quarter on ABC Sport.
2 to Norwood as we go to the three-quarter time scoreboard here at Adelaide Oval, which shows the Redlegs 8-7 trailing Sturt 13 goal 7 goal kickers, Mark, led by Burton.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Burton was 6, sensational. Twitt also, the other multiple goal kicker with 2, and Atkinson, Irvin and Kennett, the old Premier, with 1. And for Norwood, the old chef, Sujay Cook's got 1, Plim's got 1, Fosdyke, Harley and Malloy have got 1 each as well. But Norwood aren't out of this game. The double blues, pretty exciting, but they need to kick 5 goals, Redlegs.
Statistically, they're almost mirror image, aren't they? They're doing pretty well individually. Atkinson leads the way for the Blues. He has 21 possessions. Irvin's playing well from the middle of the ground with 17. For Norwood, Obst playing on centre wing, 23. He has 14 kicks and 9 handballs. Ball ace, pretty active, 12 kicks and 6 handballs. So all of that adds up, as you can see on screen at the moment, to very little in it. It's just that Sturt have been more efficient, and in the last 15 to 20 minutes of that quarter, Mark, they blitzed.
And in 2 other matches around town this afternoon, it's three-quarter time at Adelaide Oval with Port Adelaide 6 goals 13, just leading Central District 6 goals 9, a 4-point margin at three-quarter time. And at Prospect Oval, it's 16 points in favour of Glenelg, and they've still got a bit of work to do to defeat North Adelaide. As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary line, Peter Road, I think, would have been livid at three-quarter time. Well, Michael, we've just lost you, Michael. We apologise for that, a technical problem, as Phil Carman, Stephen, would be pretty comfortable at three-quarter time with a 30-point lead.
We said at the outset that having asked him a question before the game about his footy, he said, yeah, I'm enjoying it. And you would, when your side has an ability to accelerate away like they did in that quarter, why wouldn't you enjoy it? You know, I think there's probably a few people around the place who have had their doubts about Sturt. Now, the question mark would be, they've been okay so far, but when it comes to the finals, are they going to be able to withstand the heat? Do they have enough experience?
As we go back down to Michael Parsons.
And as I was saying, David, you've found a great word, livid. Peter Road very unhappy with the effort of the Norwood Football Club. On the other hand, Phil Carman happy with the way his players stayed over the ball. Felt he won the body-on-body contest. Was very happy with the way the forward line functioned.
Thanks, Michael.
Bounce down at the start of the last term. 13-7 to 8-7 that scoreline once more. And they've got Pascoe and Ruck now up against Feast. McIntosh, quick kick forward to half forward. If they're going to get out of this Norwood, they'll want to have a couple of quick ones, I reckon. Weatherald kicks it forward. Sturt will know that too, by the way, and they'll try and work very hard to get the first couple themselves and extinguish any hope that Norwood have.
Well, Norwood, unfortunately, that first quarter, if you have just joined us, lost a couple of their star players this year, and Harvey again only lasted around about 10 minutes into that first quarter, and also Stephen Pitt, maybe their best defender so far this year, he came off with a twisted ankle.
Dead ball on centre wing. Davey gets up with it. Saw him in last year's grand final. Pretty sick and sore at the end of the day, but still with a premiership medallion in hand. Here he is over the footy at the moment. And Sturt just trying to close it down. Show a fair bit of maturity, don't they?
Yes, they really have developed so well, this double blues side. They've been quite fortunate that they haven't lost too many players to the AFL, as other clubs have. They haven't got too many players sort of interchange between either the Port Power side or the Adelaide Crows.
If they can keep this up, they'll extend their home game record for the year to 9-1, 9 wins and 1 loss. The only loss was to Central District back in round 6. So obviously they're enjoying playing at home at Unley. They're dual homes, if you like. Unley Oval, a bit of an advantage there. But there's no better place to play than this one. Atkinson showing a bit of dash. Handballs across the top to Twitt. It just sat very nicely for him. Handballs inside. You need to be quick now, Toby Kennett. He had one spare across the top as well. Dan Tokia left his player and did it pretty well. And diving on the footy with a free kick. The Double Blues will get it from about 40 metres out.
Well, the rewards have to be there. We see White there under a fair bit of pressure, just got the ball out. Good tackle by Jerry Dan Toshio. Coming across as laying high tackle by Davey. Desperation written all over his face with Davey, but just a little bit too much desperation showing. And Adam Lang's taken a bit high. Left legger should kick this goal on this side of the ground.
Pretty quiet since quarter time. He did start in a blaze of glory. This is his 8th kick. It's a good one, isn't it? Right through. Now, if Norwood get out of this, they'll be miracle workers. Second goal to Lang. And the Redlegs are under all sorts of heat.
And just the understatement, under heat at the moment. They couldn't allow the Double Blues to get the first goal they have. White here, as we said, just flicked the ball out. Gave Lang a chance. A bit high, a bit crude, a bit coarse with the tackle. And Lang, I thought he was left leg. All of a sudden he's changed, kicked to his right. Got the ball back beautifully. And brings up his second goal for the afternoon, David.
What about the Redlegs? They've got West Adelaide here next Saturday, our game of the day. Then they go to the bye. Then Port at Alberton and the Eagles at Norwood. A tough assignment coming into the finals. This was important for them today. They won't take the minor premiership the way they're travelling. They've just not shown enough aggression. Twit out and Lang marks. I think when we see the Redlegs in the finals, you'll see a much more aggressive Redleg outfit, because while they've been tough at the ball, a lot of it's been misplaced. And Sturt have just absorbed it and run away. Lang from 48. Confidence high after that last goal. Blasts it long again. The goal up by leans back. Oh, he likes it. He's pumped the kid. That's his third. He likes this oval. He gets his goals on Adelaide Oval.
Yes, young Lang, but it started in the middle of the ground once again. They got it out of the centre square, but young Twit here, they've got two players they've found off-season, young Twit and Muffy Continuary. Just a little bit of excitement on that forward line. They've able to get hold of the ball, electrifying pace, both players. And just set the ball up lovely for Lang. He went back, kicked it from 50 metres. A good goal.
15-7 to 8-7. It's bordering on impossible now for the Norwood side. Keating's gone to a forward pocket. Pascoe's in the ruck. And Feast has toiled away very well. It's handed down towards Atkinson. Direct route to goal's a pretty good one. Leaping at the ball. He's full of confidence at the moment. Lang, it's off hands to Twit, who gave him the last one. He hands it off. Kennett. Little one-hander, just starting to lair eyes a little bit. If this one goes through, it will bring the Sturt fans alive. Didn't miss by much.
There was high fives in the crowd being given before the goal had even gone through. But what a snapshot from Kennett. Can he kick a football? That was on one leg around his body. The ball was covered good 50 metres.
Stewie Dew from Central and Ian Hanna from the Eagles, the last two players, and perhaps Gary McIntosh early in his career, the last players I saw that could do that off one step. Incredible. Would have brought the house down. Richter smothered by McIntosh. Macca's working very hard. Wide inboard Richter. He had a short one in Lang. Elects to go for the long option. It's Burton. Missed the chest mark. Roving. It's Lang. Oh, he's kicked 3 in 3 minutes to bring him 4th for the afternoon. That's a match-winning performance. Him and Burton have combined, and I think it's beyond the Redlegs now.
Well, this could be blowout to a 60-point margin. And we were saying at about the 20-minute mark, well, not even 20-minute mark, but the 15-minute mark of that third quarter was only a couple of points in it. Norwood had a chance to put themselves back in front. They didn't.
And those 2 goals, that was the end of it.
That was the end of it. They haven't got back. And now, I mean, 55 plays 104. Unbelievable.
Well, the scores were level before those 2 goals. They were 55 apiece. And then it was a 12-point margin. Now we've got a blowout.
Well, Norwood is still 55, and the Blues are 104. So if there are any doubts previously about whether Sturt can mix it in big games, there's a couple of times this season they've done it wonderfully well. Cook hands it back towards Davey. The ball's partly smothered. They're doing that pretty well. In fact, it couldn't have been too well smothered because it's been paid a mark forward of it. Plim gets it about 40 metres out.
Stanfield tricky.
Well, he's done, I reckon, okay at centre-half back. He's got 3 kicks and 2 handballs, but hasn't needed to see much of the action over the last half an hour, has he? Plim, 40 and a bit metres out. The ball holds up, and I don't reckon it's made the difference. Yes, it might have. Yep. The umpire's going to grandstand it. A goal. Well done, Umpy. Norwood get a badly needed goal. I think it might be all too late, though. They move along to 9-7. They trail the Double Blues, who are 16 goals 8.
It wasn't clean possessions. It just got out there. Davey around his body. Nearly a tremendous smother off the boot. Put him just in front. The ball was going down. He put his big frame over it. There's no chance there for Stanford at all to get a fist across to it. And the goal's been scored, a much needed one, but just a little bit too late.
104-61, and in other matches around town, it's Port by 11 points over Central, and Glenelg by just 3 points over North. The Roosters are fighting back against the Tigers. Sujai Cook just slung out of it. Doreen Stanfield grabbed, not in possession. The umpires have let it flow. Keating forward to Matty James. Now it's Obst on the left boot. A long bomb to the square. Pascoe one-handed, two-handed. Stolen away by Fosdyke. He was trying to rove it, but Pascoe had the mark. Snap for goal, misses, and a point that gives him 1-3.
Yeah, good pressure once again. Twit's covering a fair bit of ground. He was down there. He was amongst it. The big frame of Pascoe couldn't quite take the mark. Twit was in there. Dragged off the ball by Clements. Pascoe again. A little bit of treatment there. Not a great deal from Geddes, but couldn't kick the goal.
He kicks in very well, Chris Threadgold. Finds the target. When you can do that and make it career away from the full back line, you can generally set up some free players, but Norwood have defended well on centre wing with Obst. Two number 6s having a bit of a push and a shove. Former Sturt teammates. Damien Obst has a premiership in hand last year, obviously. Some of those Double Blues players grappling with him will be hoping to get one this year.
Todd Davey, head down, releases it out wide. The handball was good to Sujai Cook, who didn't miss stride. Delivers it up to Fosdyke, who needed 2 bites at the cherry. Still good enough to mark it. He's 50 out. Not quite within his range. Oh! Big fly was up Robinson. Fisted it away. Patura handballs it into space. Atkinson releases it backwards. Geddes. Now Maloney. Left footer. A high one. Good attempt at the ball. Sujai Cook. He really came back and created a contest and then came back for a second effort. It was very good. Richter almost swallowed that, but Sujai spoiled him.
Look at the jump here. The big lead from behind. Hand on the back. Bit unlucky not to get the free kick given against him.
Good description that. Sujai was under it, had to back up. Sometimes it's just your turn to do that, isn't it? You've got to back up. He could hear Richter coming. Probably a bit lucky it was John, because John doesn't get too far off the ground these days. Sujai Cook gets it now on centre wing. Shouldn't be allowed to play on, but is, and then promptly kicks the ball out of bounds on the full. So Norwood are having a dirty afternoon since half-time.
Did everything right till the kick, though, didn't he? And the match down at Glenelg, there's a bit of a turnaround down there. It's North by 3 points now over Glenelg, and Glenelg led so wonderfully well at half-time.
Drifting back was Keating, was best read by Atkinson. Now that ball was hard to take, and again he's just snaffled it with one take. That is a very good sign of a very good player, isn't it? One clean take of the footy.
Excuse me, Tricky. Now Richter kicks the ball away here. It was already out of play and kicks the ball away. Now that's actually a free kick. I don't know why the umpire didn't pick him, because he's just come in to warn him. Now, the ball's out, bang, kick it away, that's a free kick. Don't worry about that, that's a missed one.
Oh, you were talking about Tiki Touchwood before.
That's a rule. Don't worry about that.
Here's a chance, though, with Richter, left leg. Be a good one from there. He puts it to the head of the square. Burton, best position, takes the mark.
Now, my point is, you pay that free kick when Richter kicks it away and Norwood are in their attacking zone. Now, it's in the goal square with Burton kicking another goal.
Well, all of that's true. The question is whether or not it was a free kick. It actually looked to me as though Richter just stumbled over the footy.
He booted it out of bounds.
Oh, I'm not even going to put up. I'm not going to even don't. Just don't encourage him.
Don't go.
Don't encourage him. Oh, he's just... Call the game.
Richter, point blank.
Burton, point blank range?
No, Narcolis just hit me in the guts. Right. No wonder I didn't know who I was calling. You are a shocking little man.
He's missed the goal after all that.
And he's missed. Burton, let's get it right.
That's why I hit you.
You are a hateful man.
Oh, you're happy. You can be stupid.
You'd be reported.
Sometimes.
I might give you a couple of weeks for that one. Just bring some sanity back, Tricky, will you?
Malloy to Harley, now on towards centre wing. It's a good-looking kick as well. Contest is provided by Geddes, the spoil forward. Again, it's that sure ball handling of Atkinson that makes a bit of a difference. He kicks it forward blindly. They made a mess of that with 3 of them there. Throw just about be shattered after this, Norwood. Free kick, called play on with the advantage. Now it goes indoor towards James. They've stopped running Norwood. They've got a couple sitting up the front, but they've really stopped running from behind, except for Dan Tocky. His run's okay. McIntosh can find the mark, and this time should. Well, he did, but the pressure on Pascoe was good enough, and the Double Blues leave their defensive area with a spare play on centre wing. It's Toby Kennett.
Robinson was very good to get it out to Kennett. Now they set it up for the Double Blues. Now Weatherall just misses it, makes a meal of it, but comes back on the left, squares it up. Forward it goes, over the top of that. Clements working very hard. He hasn't done much wrong this afternoon. Continuing. He's so quick. He's greased lightning, this young fella. Gets the handball out. Fosdyke's been pretty good today. He's worked pretty hard. Towards the boundary line goes the kick, and Cook couldn't quite get there. In the other matches around town at Alberton, it's Port Adelaide by 3 goals, asserting their strength over Central, and Glenelg fight back with a goal and lead North Adelaide by 3 points.
Making their season tough, the Bulldogs. They had control of that game early down at Alberton. And they've got a couple of teams really hot on their hammer for that final 5. Good smother by Bowman. The ball goes out of bounds just in front of the grandstand here at Adelaide Oval. Pretty good crowd in. 16-9 plays 9-8. 13 and a bit minutes gone. Last term. They've been very, very convincing, the Double Blues. Sitting proudly atop of the premiership table at the moment. This is probably, with 2 games in percentage now, going to wrap up, you would think, the minor premiership for themselves. Get themselves a week's break in the first week of the finals. McIntosh sweeps past. He can't get it. Geddes is working very hard. No options there. We'll have another bounce down.
Just looking at the Redlegs, Mark, with their injuries, that they could have used the week off at the start of the finals.
Yes, I mean, they've got a couple of players out this afternoon, a couple to come back in as well, but what's the umpire doing here? Blowing his whistle. One of the umpires is taking control, making sure the ruckman don't go too hard at it.
Yes, we can't have any vigour. Plem over the top of it. Stanfield feeds it back. Patura released on the left boot, brings it back down the corridor. White works hard to come inside. Bowman working very hard. Gets support from Todd Davey. Short one to Harley. Now they're running from defence. This is where they need to build the Redlegs. Doreen to Davey. Where's the run coming from? It's Macca wide. Where's the space? Short. And underneath this one, Bourlays. So when they're running the Redlegs, they look dynamic. And when they don't, they look terrible. Short and wasteful. Well, it just wasn't on that kick. That's just sheer inexperience. You learn from that, the young fella. At only 17, you're going to make those mistakes. But you've got to start somewhere. It's Richter on the outer wing. Touches the ball, waits for a lead. He forces White to come at him, but no, he doesn't. So Toby Kennett goes long with a booming kick. That is a monster. And under it, Bassett read it beautifully.
He did do it pretty well. Irvin comes off, and for the first time today, Brenton Cardone comes on for a taste of league footy for the first time. Be pretty excited, wouldn't he? And fitting into the groove out there, should be able to find himself a few possessions, you would think, because the Double Blues are very much in control of the game. Obbs has worked very hard throughout the day. Provide a good run through the centre line, 16 kicks and 9 handballs. And that's the result. A good mark taken forward of play by Nicholas Fosdyke.
Yeah, good grab by Fosdyke. The 2 number 39s, but once again we see the younger players for the Redlegs just panicking and giving the ball back.
Peter Road will look into this match, and the way his players have disposed of the ball will shock him, I suspect. Double Blues, on the other hand, have hit the target more often than not. Threadgold down from full back to White, who's up from centre half forward. They meet and combine. Now it's Keating working hard. Lang fights hard for it. Coming clear, Bassett, Keating fends off Twitt, gets away the kick. Didn't go too far, did it? And White just the required distance. Marks about 60 out, has a lead from Kennett. Oh, and he's got it. Right on the 50-metre line, a booming left foot kick. He should make the distance.
Kick with his right leg, I think, the way this boy kicks the ball.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter which foot it is.
No, he's kick from about 55.
Right foot. Left foot, perhaps. You happy with that? All right. And Burton from behind couldn't bring it down. Clements mops up beautifully. He's probably one of the best crummers in the competition. Davey to Bourlays over the top of it, bustled off it and wins a free.
Yeah, been a pretty impressive play today as Bourlays. He's tried very, very hard. He's worked up and down that wing from half forward through into the forward lines as well. With reasonable possessions as well. He's had 14 kicks and 7 handballs. That's 21 possessions, not a bad outing.
16-9 Sturt, 9-8 for Norwood. When you can score 16 goals and you can score heavily quickly like they have, Sturt, that all augurs pretty well. They've got a bye next week just to freshen up. And then get ready for the onslaught with the finals for their first, well, the second time I suppose. They were there last year, the second time in succession. It was a very lean trot before that for 10 years. Quick handoff from White to Atkinson. He'd love to finish it off. He saw that the goal square was free and went for it, but Norwood worked back. Gee, that was well done by Bassett, wasn't it?
Courage. It's the only way you can describe that effort by Bassett. Atkinson, not the best option to go for. He can't kick a ball quite that distance. He nearly did, but didn't keep control. But Bassett just had eyes for the football.
Long ball, Feast at the back door, just inside the line. Well, he paddled that across quite deliberately. And Obb says, hey, hang on, that was a free. It's got to be. And other matches around town, it's Port Adelaide by 25 points over Central. Good night, Bulldogs in that match. And Glenelg still in the hunt, 4 points up over North Adelaide at Prospect Oval. Keating thumps it down. Sujai Cook claimed by Lennon, heads towards the line. Safety first. What do you reckon, Mark?
Yes, there's 18 and a half minutes in this last quarter. I think
comprehensive, the double blues,
they have been. I mean, they've taken their foot off the pedal a little bit. The Redlegs just still, I mean, they're not going to go down without a fight. That's the Redlegs tradition. We see Phil Carman up there with his 2 players. One Mark Stuttlestrom, the other player there also, young Michael Curtis.
Well, Lang's taken a fair leap at that one. Got himself way up above the pack. Watch this. It would have been one of the best of all time if he'd taken it.
Looked like Bagshaw.
I'm not sure that Baggy used to quite... No, they did it in 76. I hate to date myself, but I remember the 76 final playing out of a forward pocket. He took a few moggy, didn't he? He did get up there and kick a few, but that was a fair sort of a leap. Phil Carman will be pretty happy, I reckon.
Soderstrom preparing to come on. And Michael Curtis from Tumby Bay. So there'll be a few people at Tumby Bay looking for this young fella to make a bit of an impact. And Phil Carman, I like that, just a steadying hand on the shoulder. Atkinson, snap around the corner, loose ball. Bassett's done very well, replaced Fleming. Fleming was Burton's direct opponent. On the left, he misses this one. But he's been so very good this afternoon. He's kicked 6 goals, 1 Julian Burton, 6 goals, 2 now, from 10 kicks.
Well, this will give the Double Blues a little bit of confidence going into the major round that they've really have accounted for one of their final contenders in last year's premiers, Norwood, quite easily after half-time.
So it would give them enormous confidence.
Got the bye next week. It's not a bad way to go into the bye, is it?
Damien Obst hasn't stopped working. He has been very diligent out there on that far side, centre wing. Coming off the ground, John Richter for a rest. Double change being made. Lang's coming off as well, perhaps got a bit of air sickness. Coming for a rest on the bench. Again, Obst puts it inside half forward, working his way back okay. Was number 30, Cardone. He couldn't take it though, but the Blues defence has been pretty good. Atkinson provided the link, just sweated off. Soderstrom, who's just come back onto the ground, his handball didn't find the player, but the defensive action from the Redlegs has gone off the boil a bit. Spoiled forward. And again, Obst is having a great little game on the far side.
Obst. Now, Atkinson's got 32 possessions, if you don't mind. 10 and 9 for Obst, so he's finding plenty of the ball as well. Feast. 18 and 9. It's my eyes, sorry, fellas. Lennon. Twit. Got it back from Soderstrom. Clements works hard continually. That was very, very clever, and Soderstrom comes down and finishes it off.
Free kick back to Muffy.
No, it's a free kick in front of goal, so it's an FAD. Muffy got decked after he disposed of it. Soderstrom missed and will get a second kick because of it.
Oh, the little Muffy from Murray Bridge, tail and bend up that way. Just out of the Hills leg. Look at that. We just didn't see the effort before that to be able to get hold of the ball. He goes down a little bit of cramp.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know where the free kick is there. He lost.
Well, 3 soft ones. We'll go for the soft serve on that one. It's a Mr. Whippy free kick. Soderstrom didn't even feel it. But he missed anyway and gets a free kick. So the defender turned attacker. Does what every good defender does when he gets a chance kicking a goal. He misses. Attendance today, Stephen, 7,865. Pretty fair effort at Adelaide Oval.
Not a bad guess earlier, was it? 7 to 8,000?
Yes.
7,865. It's a good crowd for a pretty good game of footy as well. One that's been blown open by Sturt in this second half. Quick kick forward, Lennon. Lifts the eyes, looking into the sun at this time of the day. Maybe that's the result as it goes to Dan Tokia, who's at half-back. Couple of options on grandstand side. Ball ace is one. The other one is Bowman. He kicks it towards half-forward, where Plim works very hard to try and make a contest of it. Fosdyke. And a spoil on Plim, which obviously wasn't seen very favourably by the umpire.
There wasn't a great deal in that.
Right up towards the full forward line. Can they get a little bit back at this late stage? Ball ace, a chance for him to snap it. He decides in the end to go with an option to Obbs, who walks around, should kick a goal and does. Gets his first. Full credit to Damien Obbs today. Plenty of possessions, 28 of them in all, and has run the lines very, very well.
There's another good build-up. I mean, Norwood haven't stopped trying. This game really could have blown out to over a 10-goal margin if the Redlegs just laid down, but they don't. You don't expect them to either. They are a final side. They are a final two side, sitting the second in the premiership. They hang on to the second place and should finish there at the end of the season.
39 points the margin in favour of the Double Blues. Who would have thought it at half-time when there was only a point in it? Macca tries everything in his power, as he does every week, even pleading for a free kick in the final analysis. Well, Mark, you've commented on every umpiring decision today. All right. Enough said.
Not that one.
Keating. Little Michael Curtis gets his first touch. Wide. That was Cardone on the left. And White marks just inside the boundary line, grandstand side. Seeks a target. Heads long and high. Burton comes crashing out. Bassett from behind spoils. Scotty Doreen gets away the handball. It was Bassett who hurried one, grubbered one wide. White inboard. Twit. Good feed. Geddes 55 out and closing. Goes long. Burton from behind was unsettled. Couldn't take the ball and it dribbles across the line. In other matches around town this afternoon, Port by only 2 goals. Central are fighting back at Alberton. And Glenelg by 11 points. Can they hold on against North Adelaide at Prospect?
It's probably a last gasp attempt from them to stave off the wooden spoon if they haven't got it already. They'll pick up 1 game on North Adelaide, who are in 8th position, so the gap would be 2 games now. If they can hold on. Geddes. So too there is Stanfield. His short kick is marked by Maloney, who's been given some attention. He decides to play it on. Beautiful searching kick up towards half forward. White front spot. Comes off hands. Soderstrom. He's played okay since he came onto the ground. Weatherall straightens up, does it very nicely, but hits the post. Second time they've done it.
Yes, Brody Atkins hit it early in the match. And so too Toby Kennett. So it's the 3rd time they've hit the post.
Got a nice balance, Sturt, between the talls and some of these shorter players who have got some dash. Their spine is very good up and down the middle of the ground. Across centre, they're pretty well in pretty good shape there as well. So all up, the assessment out of today's round 19 win is that they are in pretty good form and have the basis there to go on with it. Davey, it's a good positive movement from them. James, they try and find some space. If it doesn't run out of bounds, it'll be picked up by Fosdyke. Short pass will go long. Pretty good option as well towards the head of the square. 2-on-1 down there. Robinson's there. Pascoe works back but can't get back quickly enough. It hits the post again for a behind.
A disappointed Redlegs fan. Expect a lot from their boys this afternoon, but really, I mean, the loss of those 2 key players in Harvey and also Pitt in that first quarter really made the job a lot harder.
Michael Curtis A short one over the top to Robinson, who's running deep down from a back pocket, hugging just inside the boundary line, lifts the eyes and goes forward. Bowman couldn't complete it. Dantokia claimed by Toby Kennett, and Toby just holds Jerry down. And winners are grinners, Toby. But Jerry will remember you, I promise you that. The old bull and the young bull, that one, Mark, isn't it?
Yep. Definitely. I mean, Jerry Dantokia is a premiership player. It's one thing he's got that Toby Kennett hasn't.
What a comprehensive game this has been. Just opened at a cracking pace. 4 points the margin at quarter time, 1 point at half time. We're 27.5 minutes into the final quarter, and it is a big blowout. Dantokia, Bowman, who was involved in that incident when Twitt kicked the second of 2 goals, but it started the double blue run. Borlase, back, Obst. Yes, he keeps running, doesn't he? He's an exciting player, and I'd like to see him at Football Park in September, and perhaps even the first week of October. Cook out to Plim, who shrugs the tackle, steps aside and delivers it forward. Pascoe is the target, just inside the line, shrugs one tackle, chips it in, heads it to the front of the square. Who can run onto it? Loose ball, and first man home is Geddes, just inside the line, Triggy, and he releases it beautifully to Feast.
Draws the applause of the Double Blues fans as Feast comes from half back towards centre wing. Very sure in the ball handling once more is White to Patura, now in towards the middle of the ground. The options, the game's really opened up now, hasn't it? 48, here's Michael Curtis, but it's all over as Julian Burton takes a wild swing at it, but that is a very emphatic victory for the Double Blues. I was just thinking that it begs the question, it's always a very difficult thing to define, but I wonder how much Norwood missed Harvey and Pitt in the final analysis. It's probably always going to be a Sturt victory, 16-12 to 10-9.
Whenever you're ready, Mark.
Yes, just a blowout after half-time. The Double Blues were well on chop. They just really were commanding. I mean, it started there in the third quarter where we saw Julian Burton take control, kicking 4 goals. The last quarter, the start of it, we saw Adam Lane come out. He kicked 3 goals also and kicked it behind. But the Double Blues, they're going to be there, no doubt, grand final day. I'm just waiting for that effort.
As we go down to Michael Parsons with Phil Carman.
And with me, I would imagine a very happy Phil Carman. Phil, a physical game. You guys stayed over the ball, and it's given you the minor premiership.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt we prided ourselves at being pretty hard at the footy, and we knew that, you know, we could make a real game of it if we showed a fair bit of intensity, and we did that early, and we were pretty ordinary against Port Adelaide a couple of weeks ago in that department, so to do what they did today was much better.
Your run through the midfield was fantastic. Your half-back flankers seemed to give you so much drive into that forward line.
Yeah, Maloney and Patura, they certainly run. They're terrific. But I think it's just the attitude. Some weeks you've got it. But I think against West Adelaide and against Glenelg last week, having good wins and being allowed a little bit more freedom, you know, they brought that into the game today. They're terrific stuff.
And since you made the move of shifting Stephen White out to centre-half forward, Julian Burton has really, as the focal point up in front, has really done it for you.
Yeah, that was your move, wasn't it, White to centre-half forward?
If you want to give me the credit, I'll take it.
Yeah, but Burt was terrific. I think he lost confidence early because he was being beaten early and didn't want to leave, but we moved him out to half forward, which allowed a little bit more freedom, but in the end he played bloody well.
All right, Phil, congratulations again. It was a fabulous game here and a good crowd, and I'm sure Sturt are going to be very happy.
Good on you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael Parsons. Thank you, Phil Carman. Thank you, the Sturt Football Club. And there, Triggy's the final scoreboard. 16-12 to 10-9. 39-point margin. Was pretty emphatic in the finish.
As we mentioned during the last quarter, there was 55 points together at one stage, and from that point on, there was a real blowout. The Blues careering away with the game.
And in other matches last night, it was South Adelaide and West Adelaide. West Adelaide holding on to a 3-point victory at Adelaide Oval with Adam Richardson kicking 7 goals, 1. Fitzgerald kicked 4 goals, 1 for South Adelaide. And today, a tight one with Port Adelaide just in control late in the fourth quarter at home against Central District.
It's put the Bulldogs in a very precarious position. Final score at Prospect Oval. Glenelg have run out winners by 10 points over North Adelaide, so they've closed the gap. 2 games the difference between 9th and 8th now.
Last night it was North Melbourne and the Brisbane Lions. 6 serious injuries to both North Melbourne and Brisbane Lions players, with the Roos running out victors today. Melbourne got over the top of Carlton, a big one, even in the wake of David Parkham being reappointed. Look at that, Hawthorn, big victors. St Kilda have lost their way in the past month. 3 big losses in 4 weeks. And Geelong, whoop, 1 point over the Western Bulldogs. What a big result that is. Tonight it's Fremantle and Essendon, Richmond and Collingwood Sunday, Sydney and West Coast at the SCG, and showdown for Adelaide and Port Adelaide. And next week in the SANFL, it's Western Norwood, our game of the day. And join us 2 o'clock next Saturday afternoon for that. In other matches, South and North, Glenelg and Central, Eagles and Port, and Sturt enjoy the bye. So a big result here, Triggy, for the Double Blues today.
Well, they'll go into the bye next week very satisfied, I would imagine, because they were emphatic winners today. And Norwood, well, I guess conversely, they're going to have a good think about how they approach the Double Blues in the finals.
Well, if you want a tape of this, don't forget $34.95 at all good ABC shops. You'll get a tape of the ABC Match of the Day, $34.95. I think there'll be a lot of people who want that. Thanks for your company. We'll see you next Saturday, Adelaide Oval. It's Norwood and West. Join us then. We're now off to the National Netball League Grand Final between the Adelaide Thunderbirds and the Sydney Swifts. See you next Saturday afternoon at 2. Bye for now.